Barnes, and you're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.
See the moonlights on the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Talawa TV is in the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Got a corner on the telephone. Yeah, this is the Ocean of the Messenger, and you're watching Talawa TV with the host and best Davis. Take it away.
I'm John Barnes, and you're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.
See the moonlights on the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Talawa TV is in the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Got a corner on the telephone. Yeah, this is the Ocean of the Messenger, and you're watching Talawa TV with the host and best Davis. Take it away.
I'm John Barnes, and you're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.
See the moonlights on the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Talawa TV is in the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Got a corner on the telephone. Yeah, this is the Ocean of the Messenger, and you're watching Talawa TV with the host and best Davis. Take it away.
Forget the call-ups, the starting 11, and the man at the helm. If this secret weapon isn't on board before the Intercontinental playoffs, you can forget all about World Cup 2026. I hope you guys can hear me loud and clear. I reckon I might have to take it down a peg because it sounds like I'm shouting over myself. Before I forget my manners, Happy New Year. Are we still saying Happy New Year? I guess I can say Happy New Year because I haven't done a show for you guys since the back end of last month, I believe. So I do apologize for that, but we're up and running. You know how it goes. If you are making your way home from work, I do hope that you make it home safe and unharmed, because doing so is an underrated blessing. If you are going in for the graveyard shift, I do hope that you make it to your destination safe and unharmed. Do get busy in the comment section. Do get active in the comment section is what I should be saying. And let me know if the new year is treating you well. I hope that it is. Also, to extend on what I've already said, I hope that you guys have a wonderful new year. I think I did say that in my last live stream, but that was some several weeks ago. So I do hope that you guys have a smashing new year. I'm going to try and keep this one short and sweet for you guys, unless there's a reason for me to go over my time. Maybe let's see if we can smash this one out the park within 30 minutes or perhaps 1 hour. Hopefully no more than that. So like I said, you guys are a little bit quiet on me. Do go ahead and get active in the comment section. All right, I can hear myself back, so let me go ahead and make some minor adjustments. I think I've done enough talking. I was been planning to give you guys this show for several weeks now, and I had a little chat with my special guest, and he was like, look, we need to do a show together. Went through my notes literally while we were on the phone, and I was like, okay, this is the perfect show for you. So I decided to like invite him along to hear his thoughts. He does know the title, so he's known the title somewhat. I do apologize, Sir Rich. He knows the title. He's been knowing the title for maybe a couple days now. I don't know what his response is going to be. He doesn't know my response, doesn't know my opinion on what I think is the secret weapon, the missing ingredient. And I think if we do apply this secret weapon, then I should think that we will be qualifying for this summer's FIFA Men's World Cup, the biggest party in sports. And if we don't implement this secret weapon, then I'm not going to be a believer. I don't think we're going to be going to the World Cup. If you guys disagree at any points, do you go ahead and let me know in the comment section. If you've not hit the like button, what are you waiting on? Go ahead and hit that like button. It does not cost you a penny. Let me go ahead and bring on my special guest. It's been a minute. Sir Rich, how are you? How you doing?
Give thanks, Crystal. Good night, viewers and subscribers to Rich Post Sports, and of course, the one and only Talawa TV. I am well in rude health. Arsenal jersey, Jamaican scarf, football to the world. I am ready to go. Always a pleasure. We're talking football tonight. That's my language.
You've got a lot going on there. You've got the Arsenal jersey on. I think you've mentioned something about Jamaica, but I can definitely see the Brazil jersey hung up in the background. Like the way you sneak that one in. Always do, always sneak it in Brazil somehow. So fair play to yourself. Since you're donning yourself in the with red and whites of Arsenal, I think it's only right to maybe kick off the show with some Premier League football. You got the big Super Sunday coming up in a matter of 2 days time. How you feeling about Super Sunday?
Every game feels like a Super Sunday. Man United, historical rivals. Things are gonna go on. I did predict, to be fair, a 3-1 beating for Liverpool last time Arsenal took them on. It ended in a draw, sharing the spoils. This is the toughest league in professional world football in the Reason Boss's view. Man United historical rivals, Michael Carrick, newly installed manager at the helm. A fantastic result in the Manc derby, 2-0 victory over Manchester City. We can't take anything for granted. But the bottom line is, Arsenal are in such rude form and confidence, filled with belief and the experience of years past, that I feel confident that every game they'll leave it on the pitch and win, lose or draw. We know that Arsenal will be pressing and doing everything that they can to lift the Premier League title at the end of the season. It will take a good team, an outstanding team, to trump Arsenal one game at a time. We're going to give Man United a warm welcome. Oh, you can take that to the bank. They'll receive a warm welcome at the Emirates Stadium. Come on in. The water's warm, the water's wet. And hopefully so is the beating. But with the likes of Casemiro, the likes of Mainu, receiving an injection of confidence, I'm taking nothing for granted. When a Mateus Cunha does not start for Manchester United, a Mason Mount comes in full of confidence, the likes of young Dogu running, sprinting again. I tell you something, we can't take anything for granted. They're lively. They're lively. Amarin was not the special one. He was not the special one. Michael Carrick has given them simple instructions. Go out and represent Man United. The spirit of Alex Ferguson could be wafting across the Emirates Stadium, but we're ready
So
for battle.
you reckon they're
Spirit
in
of
the
Mikel Arteta.
you reckon they're in their honeymoon period then, Man United that is.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you don't have no match day nerves? You're not feeling slightly nervous?
To be
Mind
honest,
you,
no.
I think this fixture actually kicks off right in time for dinner. So I think I say dinner for us. That is. I think this one is like Super Sunday. I think if I go back and look at this fixture for us, then I'm talking about like obviously UK time for the kickoff. I scroll down and look at the timing of the kickoff. It will kick off at 4:30 p.m. UK time. So that is around about dinner time, unless you go a little bit later than myself. So how are you looking to do this one? Are you going to be eating before kickoff? Because certain games, I'm not going to lie to you, certain matches, you just have to go and eat before kickoff because it could ruin your Sunday and you may not eat. So how are you doing this one? You're eating before kickoff, or are you going to wait until the game comes to an end?
I may box off a little something just before the kickoff. I may box off a little something just before the kickoff. I don't want to gobble it down too quickly, but I'm going to have a pretty full stomach, I think, pre-match time. It's going to be a good match. It's going to be a good match, one way or the other. Man United have got a good history of playing entertaining football. They've got pride to play for. They've got pride. They've got young players mixed with the likes of Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro, as I said. It's going to be a good game, but Arsenal, Gabriel Magalhaes, William Saliba, Declan Rice, need I go on? Bakayo Saka, Raya. Listen, these guys are going to go into history, I feel, but one step at a time. Let us enjoy the
Absolutely.
journey, win, lose, or draw.
Absolutely. Do you know this one? Obviously, you're senior to myself, and that's not to be disrespectful. Man from Portland, big up yourself. Happy New Year to you, sir. I hope you and your family are in great health. I hope you have a
Deal.
smashing new year. Let this one be your best year of all your previous years. Yeah, you're senior to myself, obviously, but when I was in school, this was the fixture that I dreaded the most of all the Premier League fixtures. I was just like, you know what? look through that calendar. I'm like, let's just get this one out the way. Can we just hurry up and play them type of thing? Because I think Man United, Arsenal versus Man United or Man United versus Arsenal, it's one of those fixtures there where form, for me, it goes out the window. Because both of us desperately want to beat each other. Obviously, the history is there between the two former gaffers, Arsene Wenger and also Sir Alex's, they obviously created a lot of hatred between the fan base, which I think is still alive and well. So this is one of the fixtures here that irrespective of form, it's just like, yeah, let's just get this one over with, especially when I was like back in school. That was the fixture there. I'm just like, look, dreaded it the most, and I just wanted it out the way. And I think aside from Liverpool, in terms of the Premier League fixture, I think I've said it before, for me, Liverpool, the biggest Premier League match. And if you disagree with me, then be interesting to hear your take on that. But I think next in line is Arsenal versus Man United. And I will say this again, in terms of derbies, there is no derby that tops the North London derby. So back to what I was saying, aside from Liverpool versus Man United, this for me is the next big blockbuster, hence me saying form goes out the window. So, hopefully, people were thinking, why are you saying hopefully you're at the top of the table? But yeah, Michael Carrick did get the job done the last time round, didn't he, when he was in the driving seat for Manchester United against Mikel Arteta. So I think you have to take that into consideration. You spoke about the young Maino as well, and he's got a point to prove. Obviously, Manchester United through and through. He's coming to the Emirates, and I'm sure Manchester United want to finish the season on the high, and on the high is to propel themselves back into the top four, where they can bring Champions League football back to Old Trafford. And in terms of getting that final push where confidence is concerned, surely the best place to do that, aside from beating your local rivals, City, that was a thumping victory, by the way, fully deserved to Manchester United. The next best thing is to go ahead and beat the league leaders, your arch enemies. And you never know what that will do for internal confidence, not just for the gaffer, but also for the fan base and the players as well. So it should be some fireworks over at the Emirates, but hopefully it's the boys in red and white that's letting off the fireworks, and not those little pesky red devils trying to dent our title hopes. But speaking of title hopes, Sir Rich, there, one of our very own is back in the Premier League. I'm pretty sure you are aware of that. And when I was putting the show together earlier on, I was thinking, could he have a say in how the title pans out? Who gets the title this time round? Because of course he did have a say the last time round, didn't he, Mr. LB, Mr. Leon Bailey himself? He played a role in ensuring that Arsenal did not get the title back in the 2023-2024 season. And I'm thinking, is he on course to spark one? He's back with Aston Villa after a short stint on loan with AS Roma. That one didn't come to fruition. Injuries hampered his life over there in Italy, and didn't work out in the end. And obviously he's now back with Aston Villa. So like I said, he did dent Arsenal's title hopes. He played a role with Aston Villa, Ollie Watkins, Leon Bailey, Unai Emery, and a few other clubs. I think Newcastle being one of them. They played a role in Arsenal not winning the title back in the 2023-2024 season. I fancy him potentially playing a role this time round, except I want it to be for the blue half of Manchester. What do you think of that? Do you think the return of Leon Bailey, do you think he might have a say in where the likes of Arsenal and Manchester City finish in the Premier League? Because it's quite close at the top of the league at the moment. How do you feel about that?
Well, Leon Bailey is a quality player. There's no doubt about it. He was influential, as you rightly said, for denting Arsenal's Premier League ambitions a couple of seasons ago. But to be fair, Aston Villa have been punching maybe a little bit above their weight. They've been fantastic under Unai Emery, picking up points. I mean, we gave them a merry dance at the Emirates with that 4-1 victory, but they, with that last ditch 2-1 victory at their ground, show that they're a quality team this season and they're going to be pushing for a Champions League place. Listen, if they can take points off the likes of Man City, the likes of Liverpool, that will be fantastic. But ultimately, I think that Arsenal need to depend on their results, their performances. And again, I say confidence, belief, determination, experience, all is there and set fair for Arsenal to give the best account they can this season. Leon Bailey, he's got a part to prove. I mean, you know, he didn't have a stellar time at Roma, and it's not a guarantee that he will be a regular starter in the Aston Villa team. I mean, the likes of Morgan Rogers, Tielemans, McGinn when fit, they've been outstanding this season. And, you know, they're not carrying passengers. Kamara, I think he's out injured for the remainder of the season, which is a bit of a blow if I heard correctly. So Leon has an opportunity. Unai Emery's been disappointed, I think, silently at the lack of opportunities to buy and improve his squad. So Leon Bailey coming back is a bit of a SOS, an opportunity for him to stake a claim and to give a good account of himself for Aston Villa. And that could solidify their top four aspirations and certainly their push for Champions League football, which they, this season thus far, have thoroughly looked like deserving.
Yeah, best of luck to Leon Bailey. Obviously, I'm not an Aston Villa fan, but I think we can both agree that we do want to see our compatriot do the best they can and achieve the whatever their ultimate goal is. We wish them the best in that regard. So, as I said, if you're just tuning in, I'm sure you're aware of this already. Leon Bailey back with Aston Villa after his relatively short loan with AS Roma. In terms of this weekend, Leon Bailey back in training. He is expected to be in the squad. It says here that Leon Bailey, he came back as well, thinking to help us quick. So obviously there's no readjustments there for Leon or any adjustments, because obviously it does say here in black and white from the gaffer Unai Emery, his adaptation is not necessary. He knows us and he is coming here fit for Sunday. He is going to be available. So there's no faffing around from Unai Emery. LB back with Aston Villa and he is ready to go against Newcastle. So the reason why I said, probably worth keeping an eye on Leon Bailey and Aston Villa. Obviously, it isn't over until the fat lady sings. I think you can definitely agree on that. But if I go back and jog your memory, and you probably don't want me to do that, but for the sake of us just having a conversation here where Leon Bailey and Aston Villa are concerned, we know that they created some applaudable history together, right? I think at the time it was just over 4 decades when Leon Bailey helped Aston Villa back to the promised land. I think it may have been 42 years since they last played in the Champions League at the time of when they went back to the Champions League, that is. And he did play a pivotal role in helping them to return to the promised land. So if we look at the league table back then, again, just to jog our memory, just to say, this is what happened the last time they were feeling themselves. I think it's safe to say they're kind of feeling themselves at the moment. We already spoke about the fact that Leon Bailey and Aston Villa and a few other clubs played a role in ensuring Arsenal weren't crowned champions. This is how the 2023-2024 season ended on that occasion. Pretty sure you can see this one on the screen in front of you. I think it would help if I remove my banner so you can see everything clearly. You can see it right here, league winners. Manchester City, 91 points. Arsenal, 89 points. Squeaky, as close as possible. And what's so incredible about this is the goal difference was the same, 62 apiece there for City and Arsenal. Liverpool finished in third place with 82 points. Villa, 68 points to complete the top 4. So that is how close things got the last time round. And it wasn't just against Arsenal that Leon Bailey and Aston Villa had a say. In terms of Bailey, however, against Arsenal, let's remind ourselves there that since he's been at Villa, he has managed to find the back of the net and also assists. So he's managed to provide 2 assists and a goal against Arsenal in terms of Manchester City, he has managed to find the back of the net twice. So, if given the opportunity, he may very well come up clutch if if needs be, which is why I'm saying to you there that do you think he could play a role there this time? Not necessarily against Arsenal because we've played Villa twice so far in the league. But he does have a fixture coming up. Villa do have a fixture coming up there against a couple of the big boys, and I guess we could dive right into that and look at a few of those fixtures there, and maybe you could tell me how you think this one is going to pan out if I go ahead and get up a couple of those fixtures there in the pipeline for Aston Villa and Leon Bailey. We could also look at a couple of the other teams there. So we can look at the squeaky bum time. So next up for Villa, I'm sure you can see this one on the screen. If you can't, do let me know. Next up, they have Newcastle going to St. James's Park on Sunday, Super Sunday. So their fixtures looking, I'm just going to run through February. They've got Brentford, Bournemouth, Brighton and Hove Albion, Leeds, and Wolves. And in March, they have the Blues, that is Chelsea, the Reds, the Red Devils, Manchester United, and the Hammers. In April, they have Nottingham Forest, Sunderland. We know how Sunderland are performing so far. And they have Fulham. Fulham definitely have a little pep in their step. But May is where it could be curtains closed for one team in the, let's say, top 3. They got Spurs, they got Burnley, they got for the last 2 fixtures in May, they have Liverpool at home and they have Manchester City away at the Etihad. So the final game for City and Leon Bailey and Aston Villa is where they'll be facing off against each other, as I said, at the Etihad. How do you feel about that one in terms of excitement? And again, like I said, he has scored against Manchester City. It's not like he hasn't done it before. He's helped to rough up Manchester City. Do you think we can see more of the same, where quite literally right now it's 3 teams that's trying to win the Premier League title, or whether you believe that Villa is out of it, or whether you think City are looking like wounded dogs? At the end of the day, it's 3 teams that's chasing the league. So how do you feel about that final fixture there, City versus Aston Villa, last game of the season? Do you fancy another Aguero moment? Except this time round it's coming from Leon Bailey. Leon Bailey might put the final cassava piece in Pep Guardiola's coffin, leaving him trophyless. How you feel about that?
Well, I must say, I'm smiling quietly. As I said, I'm relying on Arsenal to take care of their own business. But for Man City to be playing Aston Villa at the end of the season, that's a very live game. Liverpool, I'm not going to say they're totally out of the equation. Aston Villa playing Liverpool, that is good to know that Aston Villa, who I don't think will be in the fight for the Premier League title itself. I think that's a live game. That could be Champions League football at stake. They want to give a good account of themselves, and they won't be rolling over. So I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm happy to see that Aston Villa will be live, hopefully opponents for Man City, as well as Liverpool, right at the tail end of the season. Fingers crossed. I mean, the best scenario would be that Arsenal have the title wrapped up before these 2 games. But no, that's a chance for Leon Bailey to shine further. There is competition for places there. He's going to be you know, he's going to be potentially a very important piece of the puzzle. But whoever gets selected, Unai Emery is not going to be standing on ceremony. If you're ready, you're going to be in. If you're subscribing to his tactics, you're in. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited and grateful as an Arsenal fan, particularly because I don't want any walkovers. The Premier League is the toughest league professionally in club football, in my opinion. Great for drama, excitement. The fans get royally entertained, and nothing is taken for granted. You can get a Liverpool taking on the Wolves, taking on Leeds, Sunderland, and not beating them at home. I mean, it's just a wonderful Premier League, the EPL, terrific entertainment. So, yeah, excited. But come on, Arsenal, I'm absolutely confident that they're going to give a great account of themselves this season, and I am that 12th man. I want to be that 12th man that is really being as positive as one can be at the achievements and the tactics and the vision that Arteta and the Arsenal squad have this season, Crystal.
Now,
By the way, can I big up Owen, Danny Dread, Rockfort Fire, and Man from Portland for tuning in to Talawa TV with the Reason Boss and Crystal Davis, the one and only Crystal Davis of Talawa TV. Big up yourself, Danny. Owen, long time no here. One love, Rockfort, each and every time. Fire, bless up each and every time. Crystal.
definitely big up the guys there in the comments section. Man from Portland already giving you your big up, Fire, Rockfort, Owen, and Danny Dread. Hope you guys are all in good health. Hope you have a fabulous 2026. May this year be better than your previous years. And I guess since we spoke about Aston Villa, what are they currently? Third in the league, 43 points apiece for City and Villa. I guess it makes sense to also look at Manchester City. We already know that their final game of the season is going to be against Leon Bailey and Unai Emery's Aston Villa. But in terms of the rest of the fixtures there for City, this is how they're looking. Closing off January with a game against Wolves. In February, they got a couple fixtures there. I think this is their bogey game. Tottenham seems to be their bogey team, so you never know. There may be some twists and turns there. They got a big so back-to-back Super Sunday clashes there, starting off with Spurs. Then they have a trip at Anfield, playing against Fulham. Fulham, I think, is a little bit of a tricky team as well. They also have to play against Newcastle. Leeds coming up to close off February. The segue into March, where they'll be playing against Nottingham Forest, West Ham United, and Crystal Palace. In April, they got a fixture away to Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Also playing against Arsenal at the Etihad. So they said they're sandwiched between. They've got two London games there. Two teams against 2 games against 2 teams from London. Chelsea first up on the 11th of April, and the following weekend they've got a fixture at home against Arsenal, closing off April against Burnley away. And if you go into May, we've already discussed their final game. But so aside from that, they have a fixture against Everton, followed by Brentford, Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth is probably the most trickiest game there, followed by the final day of the season, where they are going to be playing against Aston Villa and Leon Bailey. We also need to talk about Liverpool, because they are the current reigning champions. So let's go ahead and look at what their fixture is saying. Let's go back before we look at May. Let's look at who they're playing this weekend. They've got a trip. They're playing against. Oh, okay. So tomorrow they're playing against Bournemouth, and closing off January against Newcastle United at Anfield. Then you go into February, kicking things off against Manchester City again at the Etihad. They also have, I think, maybe a tricky fixture against Sunderland, followed by Nottingham Forest and West Ham to close off February. In March, they've got Wolves, followed by Spurs. Closing off March with a fixture away to Brighton and Hove Albion. In April, they've got Fulham, Everton, got the Merseyside derby there in April, closing that one off with a game against Crystal Palace to close off April. In May, they've got the biggest fixture in the Premier League calendar, where they'll be taking a trip to Manchester United, going to Old Trafford on the 2nd of May. And that might be by then, I think this is going to be a monumental fixture. It is, for me, as I've said, the biggest game in the Premier League calendar, but you're going to be probably looking at 4 teams there. If Manchester United doesn't extend their reach over Liverpool and vice versa, Liverpool may extend their reach, because at the moment, Liverpool sitting on 36 points, Man United sitting on 35 points. very close. By then, I should think this is going to be a game there worth keeping our eyes on. It always is supposed to be fireworks, but Manchester United right there definitely going to want to do some damage to Liverpool. After Manchester United, they go back to Anfield, where they'll be taking on Chelsea, followed by Aston Villa. They close off their season against Brentford. So that is how things looking there for the current Premier League champions. But what I want to ask you there, Sir Rich and the guys in the comment section, why isn't the same amount of pressure being applied to Liverpool? Because this is what the second time now in my lifetime where I've seen them win the Premier League. Twice now they've won the Premier League, and of course there is still a long way to go, unless there's going to be a miracle, and that's not to say sound cocky, but it would be twice where they are the reigning champions, but they haven't managed to secure their crown. So why isn't there much talk about them not being able to do that? In the same way where people are saying, Arsenal and this crop of Arsenal players and Mikel Arteta can't win the league because they've never done it before. Can't the same be said about Liverpool not being able to secure their crown, because of course they've not secured their Premier League crown before. They didn't do it on the club, and it looks like they're not about to do it on the slot.
I think the main difference, good point, Crystal. The main point is that Arsenal have not won the Premier League title for a good number of years. Liverpool have got across the line with Klopp eventually. The behemoth that is Manchester City under Pep Guardiola has proved a tough nut, a mountain to climb. Liverpool did it. Arsenal have yet to do it since the glory days of Arsene Wenger with the likes of the Invincibles. I think that's the main reason. There is another factor as well, which is I think that a lot of fans enjoy the football Arsenal play, realize that the caliber of players they have, the ethos that they have, the trust that they put in managers such as Wenger, such as Mikel Arteta. They're not quick to sack their managers. They play entertaining football. The likes of Henry, Bergkamp, Overmars, Pires, so many Anelka, so many players have come in and out of the Arsenal ranks. Cesc Fabregas, that through now to the likes of Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli. Well, to a lesser degree, maybe. But Arsenal play a wonderful brand of football, but they've not been able to lift that Premier League EPL title. And that really frustrates a lot of fans, Arsenal fans and non-Arsenal fans. So it's easy for people to say, oh, they're front runners, but they're not going to do it this time. They're bottlers. They're not going to do it. They're not up for it. They won't stay the course. It's the leader at the 3:30 at Kempton Park, but coming down the last couple of furlongs, they're going to be overtaken. No, Arsenal have yet to do it. They recognize it, but it's not for lack of trying. And the Premier League is extremely difficult to win. Liverpool have got across the line, and as testimony to the fact that the EPL is such a tough league to conquer, Liverpool, having won the title, have found it extremely difficult to retain the title. So it's not a crime because we know it's tough. So to just get across the line in the first instance is a tremendous achievement for any team. But to repeat it, not easy. The Premier League, there's no quarter asked and none given. Again, I just want to be that 12th man, and I hope those viewers and subscribers out there just give a little more credit to Arsenal for what they're trying to achieve. They've been bridesmaid time after time after time. It's not that they want to be the bridesmaid and are satisfied and settling for that. They want to end up, after 38 games played, at the top of the tree, at the top of the table. This season is no different to any other season, except the strength in depth is there. The fans know it. Opposition fans know it. When you've got the likes of Eze on the bench, when you don't have to start a Martin Odegaard, when you've got a Spanish international of the caliber of Moreno coming in to a team, seamless transition, beating an Inter Milan in Italy, Champions League finalist last season, leading them a merry dance. Let me tell you something. Mosquera, an able
So
substitute for the likes of Gabriel Maheles. There was a time that if we got injuries, it would have been curtains for us. We would have taken a dip in quality. This season, there is a palpable difference. Arsenal, through Mikel Arteta, have the strength in depth, and it would be disappointed for many fans of Arsenal and non-Arsenal fans if Arsenal don't lead the way. But this is not over. Manchester City acquired Mark Gay. Manchester City acquired Semenyo of Bournemouth. He's hit the ground running, much like a Demarai Gray once hit the ground running for the Reggae Boyz. Onto the Reggae Boyz soon, no doubt. It's not over until it's over. I, for one, I'm going to enjoy the journey. Arsenal
you
are
should, you
pressing.
should, you should.
Oh yes, oh yes. We're going to leave it on the pitch
You
and let the
definitely should.
cards fall where they may.
Yeah, definitely. Eddie Guna, big up yourself. I hope you are in great health. Happy New Year. Hope this year is better than all your previous year. A pimp name slip back. Big ups to you. Happy New Year. Hope you have a wonderful year. Hope this year is better than all your previous years. Just segueing back to Liverpool there, because obviously, yes, you're right. Arsenal haven't won the league since '04. That's well over 2 decades of what, over 20 years now since they've won the Premier League title. Similar things can be said of Liverpool. It took them what, 30 years to win a league title. And obviously, when they did on the Klopp, that was their first ever Premier League title, did it second time on the slot, which in recently he spoke about that it took 30 years to win the Premier League title, and they've now won it twice. And he's been one of the reasons why they won it twice. But going back to my question there in terms of Liverpool, because when they added to their squad in the summer, I was like, oh God, just give them the league, because they already had a strong side. They strengthened it with a little bit of greed, which I love, because I said this is exactly how a serious club should be operating, especially if you want to secure the crown. But again, going back to my question, why isn't much of a uproar being centered on Liverpool in the same way it's been centered on Arsenal? Because this is twice now where you're the Premier League crowning champions and you don't look like you're going to be securing your crown. And this is a team here that added strength to their squad over the summer. So why isn't people looking at them and saying, okay, like, oh, should we be asking different type of questions? Yes, you are good enough to win the Premier League trophy because you've obviously done it twice in recent years, last season being the most recent. But again, do you not have what it takes to hold on to your crown? Is that a different type of pressure? Because you have never done it in the Premier League. So is that a different type of pressure that you can just not manage? I guess that's the question I'm trying to ask you.
It is a different kind of pressure. You're right, Crystal. It's a different kind of pressure. And to be fair, I must say I agree with you. When I saw Liverpool this season acquire Christian Wirtz, I thought, my lord, my lord. I said it out loud. I said, my goodness me, they've locked this season down. This is ridiculous. They are really building upon a solid base, and to get a Wirtz, I mean, just ridiculous. I thought, and then they got is it Kirkes, the
Yeah.
Bournemouth player, and I thought this Liverpool are really serious. But Slot was under the accusation.
Isak as well. I think Isak, let's not forget Ekitike, absolute greed, and I love it. That's exactly what you
and
should
Isak,
do. And when they bought Isak, I was like, Lord help us. I was just like, okay, I would, if this is a good thing that I'm not a player, because I would have waved the white flag before the first game of the season. Not even willing to try. I'm just surrendering. But yeah, as I said, take my hats off to them in how they attack the summer transfer window. And obviously, you can only control the controllables. Isak being coming into the team unfit, didn't have a preseason. That's no fault of his own. No matter how classy he is, he still needs to. That's why they say, preseason is absolutely essential. Because yes, you won the league last season, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't have a preseason. You need to get your body up to momentum, match fitness, and so on. And then obviously we know that he's injured. Verts, I think, is come under some unfair criticism because I think some players need longer to adjust compared to others, you know. And I don't even think we can compare him to Ekatike, different positions to play in. Ekatike, for me, absolute class. I wish we had him because I think he would just fit like a glove at a crime scene and we'll be cooking with gas with him. But it is what it is. He's not our boy. He belongs to Liverpool. But yeah, I'm just taken aback. Like, okay, no one is talking about the crowning Premier League champions. They are the reigning Premier League champions. And twice in my lifetime, it looks as if you're not going to secure your crown after all the chatting that some of their fan base have done. And they like to shift the goalpost to focus on Arsenal. I'm like, hang on there, darling. You're in the spotlight as well. It's not just about us. You're definitely in this spotlight as well. You're the reigning champions. You should be doing more to secure your crown, but your crown looks like it's going to be going somewhere else. I don't know if it's going to be going to the Etihad. I don't know if Pep is signing off on a high because it looks as if he's now going to be moving on from Manchester City. Maybe he's going to take a break. I don't know if Unai Emery is going to be putting on the crown. I don't know if it's going to be the other Spaniard, be it Mikel Arteta. But what I do know is when you look at the league, I don't hear no one saying, yeah, Liverpool are going to retain their crown. And that for me is a big story that kind of gets swept under the carpet. And I think largely it's because their fan base are embarrassed. So they do like to focus on Arsenal just to make themselves feel a little bit more better. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely, 100%. I think that it's a testimony to the fact that sometimes you may seemingly have the pieces in place and spend the big money, but it doesn't guarantee success. Slot did take over an outstanding Liverpool team, an outstanding manager who had the team purring. Slot took over, seamless transition, didn't rock the boat too much, and that team squad brought home the bacon with the EPL Premier League title. Now they went on to acquire the likes of Isak, having Ekatike on board already. Was it a case of too many ingredients in the stew? The central midfield area and defensive positions were key positions that may really have needed uh, 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 fortifying, just like Arsenal have gone with the likes of Mosquero and Incapi in defense to take over in case and to supplement the likes of Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes to bear the load and the workload has been well balanced out. We don't miss a beat hardly when the likes of Mosquera and Hincapi come in for a Saliba or a Gabriel Magalhaes. At Liverpool, simply the guys who have come in have not hit the ground running except for undoubtedly Ekatike. And as a result, I think maybe that's given Slot and the Liverpool fans and the Liverpool team a little leeway, a little lee room because they've simply not got the same team as the last few seasons and they need a period of adjustment. I think that's what's happened. But as you said, it's easy to shift the blame and shift the focus and spotlight onto Arsenal and start shouting the odds. Of course, it's an easy league this season to win. You've got to win it this season. This is yours to lose. All the usual suspect talking, but we're not having that. We're not having that. We're
No,
not having
I'll
that.
put my
We've got
eye
to
on
head
you.
through that.
I see what you're doing. You're in the spotlight as well, but you can say whatever you want to say about Arsenal, but Liverpool, you are definitely in that spotlight as well, my friends. DC, big up yourself. I hope you're in good health. I hope 2026 is your best year ever. If you guys haven't hit the like button, what are you doing? Do go ahead and hit the like button. We've gone past 30 minutes, so it's definitely now time to get down to the meat of the matter. Spoke about some Premier League. So if you want to go back a step, you're more than welcome to. I'm sure you guys know the welcome news there. Leon Bailey back in the biggest league in the world, playing back with his parent club, Aston Villa, under Unai Emery. They do have a fixture coming up this weekend against Newcastle. He is in the squad, so you may see him come on. He may come on and be a super sub. Who knows? Best of luck to him. So you can go back a step and talk about that. Look at that if you want to. Okay, David. Happy New Year to yourself, David. I hope you have a fabulous year. Let 2026 be your best year yet. If you're not familiar with my guest, Rich Post Sports is the name. Do look out and make sure you subscribe to his channel as well. So we're going to have to go down to get into the meat of the matter. I have no idea what your answer is. I deliberately didn't want to know, even when we was on the phone. And when we did the run through, I also said I don't want to know your answer because I want to keep it authentic. So let's go ahead and look at the JFF. Let's go ahead and look at the backroom staff. Let's go ahead and remind ourselves of the backroom staff. Let me know if you guys in the comment section can see that one. Let's go ahead and remove the title. I think I may need to zoom in. I need to zoom in for you guys so we can all see that clearly. I'm sure you guys can see that, right? So let's go ahead and bring ourselves up to speed with the Reggae Boyz staff. That was not intentional, by the way. So the gaffer, the interim gaffer is Rudolph Speed is the interim head coach. The complete staff lineup consists of the following. Miguel Coley is the assistant coach. Michael Donaldson is another assistant coach. Aaron Lawrence, goalkeeper coach. Kyle Chin, video analysis. Amar Stennett, he is the team manager. If we continue and look at the rest of the team there, we have Roy Simpson, general manager. Alvin Green, massage therapist. Christopher Kelly, physiotherapist. Lamar Morgan, fitness coach. Simon Preston, press officer. Derek McDowell, team doctor. And Amar Twin, equipment manager. So that is how we are looking there, where the lineup is concerned for the staff. If you want me to go over that at any point in the show, do let me know. So let me ask you the $1 million question there, Sir Rich. I am so excited to hear your answer to this. I haven't got a clue what you're going to say. The one thing that JFF must do to save Jamaica's World Cup 2026. What's your answer to that one? And obviously, I'm going to be giving you my answer. I reckon we're going to be saying something completely different, but the floor is all yours.
Be defensively sound. Be defensively sound, i.e. the Reggae Boyz team, the Reggae Boyz squad. And when I say defensively sound, that includes being consistent, pragmatic, and yet bold in their selection of the forthcoming playoff squads, taking on New Caledonia and potentially a meeting with DR Congo, one of Africa's strongest teams. I believe that the Reggae Boyz need to be defensively sound. They need to be consistent when it comes to selection of the squad, in my opinion. Teamwork makes the dream work. Carry out the game plan, I say. Moments matter. Moments matter. See Senegal versus Morocco in the AFCON final for further details. Senegal against Morocco, AFCON final in Morocco. Senegal were defensively sound. Senegal had a team that they could rely on, a squad they could rely on. They ensured that Morocco did not get too many sniffs at goal, and they ensured that they allowed and ensured that their quality players and those moments proved to be key. An outstanding strike gave Senegal a 1-0 victory over Morocco. I am hoping that Jamaica, the Reggae Boyz, are defensively sound. What does that mean? That means in defense, we're going to have the usual suspects, the Greg Lees, the Ethan Pinnocks, the Mason Holgates, not the wild firebrand Holgate. We want a defensively sound Holgate. We want the Amare Bells, if available. We want the Rico Henrys, if they can hit the ground running. In midfield, the usual suspects. Back to the word, defensively sound, being consistent. The one thing that I think the JFF can do is to ensure that Rudolph Speed takes the course of being defensively and consistently sound, not going for the bag of 5, 6, 7 new players and hoping that they can quick as a flash, form a decisive unit that can take on New Caledonia and Democratic Republic of Congo. They are a band of brothers. The Reason Boss has been checking out DR Congo. They themselves are defensively sound. They are capable of scoring, and if you snooze on them, they will take advantage. Vissa, there's a couple more players that I tell you what, you're going to be on first names terms with them, but they are not prolific scorers if Jamaica can remain defensively sound. Remember the World Cup campaign. Yes, we took care of Bermuda. Yes, we almost took care of, on 2 occasions, Trinidad and Tobago. We slipped up with a draw. And of course, Curacao led us a merry dance with a 2-0 victory on their home patch. All Jamaica needed, I say all, was a victory, a victoire in the National Stadium of Kingston. Let us not forget Bowser hit the crossbar. Let us not forget Cadamarteri hit the post. Let us not forget Bobby Reid saw the eyes of the Curacao keeper one-on-one. If only a matter of inches, moments matter. Bobby Reid produced a magic moment. I'm coughing, but I'm not take back the talk. Bobby Reid produced that magic moment. Who remembers in Mexico that wonder strike? Ravel Morrison ended up giving away a penalty. Not deliberately, but he gave away the penalty. The Mexicans were desperate for something, a way back into the game, and they got it. But the magic moments, Bobby Reid was involved. Now, this is no easy challenge. Bowser was there for, in the Reason Boss's opinion, the best performance I've seen, the most memorable performance I've seen from a Reggae Boyz team. You remember when was it Toronto they went to? 3-1, was it 3? My Lord. Bowser was instrumental. Damien Lowe was instrumental. These players are likely to be needed come New Caledonia and DR Congo. We can't be putting all our eggs into one basket with 6, 7, 8 new players who will somehow mystically prove superior to our existing Reggae Boyz. They can make the squad if they're good enough, if they meet the requirements, if they can join the band of brothers. Again, I say Cadamarteri, post, Bowser, crossbar, Bobby Reid saw the eyes of the keeper. They've come this far. They said it was a soup group, soup. Well, soup can still drink. But right about now, we need some hard food. We need some hard food. And the hard food is to swallow the hard food and make the tough decisions. Let's go again as a band of brothers. If Arico Henry comes in, come in and do the job that is required of you. But are we going to invest on new, shiny creatures, shiny models, shiny footballers? Be defensively sound. Be bold. Gather the players in the bulk, in the main, that have carried Jamaica to the cusp of 2026 World Cup. We say 48 teams are set to qualify for the World Cup, including the host, Mexico, USA, and Canada. We still have a chance to create history. Not since 1998. Let's take a deep breath and not lose our nerves. Be defensively sound. The usual suspects, Leon Bailey, Cephas, Gray, Lee, Pinnock, Holgate, Hayden, Palmer, the usual suspects. Dare I say, a Jason Anglin. Now, easy now. Time is short. The Spice Boys of Grenada took on Jamaica. 1-0 victory. What did we learn? I'll leave that to you, Crystal, to come up with that long list of what we learned from that. Next, who knows who's next? Could we have taken on an African opponent? Who knows? We want to take on a live, L-I-V-E, live African opponent if we get past first New Caledonia. New Caledonia, Caledonia. What makes Caledonia so hot? What? Be consistent, be defensively sound. And when I say defensively, I want all of the Reggae Boyz squad to be united, be firm, be solid, be resilient, and make the magic moments matter and count. Then we can get ourselves to the 2026 World Cup. New Caledonia await. DR Congo await. Trust me, them nah ramp. No should we. Crystal, viewers and subscribers, the floor is yours.
Alrighty, you came close. You came close, but obviously, we don't need to sing from the same hymn sheet. Definitely was curious to hear what your one thing is that the JFF need to do to ensure that we qualify for this summer's biggest party, that is the FIFA Men's World Cup. Definitely looking forward to that one. Also interested to hear if you guys want to chime in the comment section. Don't be shy. Let me know what the one thing is that you guys think the JFF needs to do to ensure that we qualify for the FIFA Men's World Cup. Of course, we have two fixtures there, potentially two fixtures. Definitely a fixture in the ankle biter, as I like to call it, the Intercontinental Playoffs. Don't ask me for the dates because I've deliberately not looked at the date. And I don't think I'm going to look at the date unless this one thing happens. If this one thing don't happen, I don't think you can convince me that we will qualify for the FIFA Men's World Cup. All right. So I'm hoping and praying that somewhere Mr. Speed, the interim head coach for the Reggae Boyz, pull this one out the bag and turn me into a full believer that we will go back to the promised land for the first time since 1998 for the men's team. So let's go ahead and stick a pin in it and go back over the staff. This one here was announced, I think, some weeks back by the JFF. I've taken a little look at it. I'm like, all right, so let's go over that one once more for you guys. All right, so this is how we're looking there where the staff's concerned. I've already gone over it, so let's just run through this quickly. The interim head coach, the gaffer, Ruler Speed, followed by Miguel Coley, assistant coach. Another assistant coach there is Michael Donaldson. Aaron Lawrence is the goalkeeper coach. Kyle Chin is the video analysis. Amar Stennett is the team manager. Completing the pack, we have Roy Simpson, general manager. Alvin Green as the massage therapist, Christopher Kelly as the physiotherapist, Lamar Morgan as the fitness coach, Simon Preston as the press officer, Derek McDonald, Dowell, my apologies, as the team manager, and we know we have the man twin as the equipment manager. I wanted to go over that because I'm still in disbelief and I'm still disappointed. I'm gonna keep it on this screen here, right? And I was looking down a few times. I don't like the blackness. Let me take this off the screen. I was looking down a few times at my table in front of me and I'm making notes. So if you see me looking down, I was making notes of what you said. And this is why I said you came close. And I was like, he's going to say it, but you didn't say it. But there's a few things that stood out there when you was speaking there, Sir Rich. You said words to the effect of Band of Brothers. I think you was potentially alluding to New Caledonia or potentially New Caledonia and DR Congo if we do get past New Caledonia. And I also think you made reference to the JFF not putting all the eggs in one basket, which I think I agree on. And there's a few. I think you also, correct me if I'm wrong, spoke about African opponents. Did you touch on that, or my ears fooling me?
No, correct. It would have been lovely.
Cool.
I don't know who the next opponent's going to be. It could be African. I don't know who the next opponent going to be. Grenada was a quote unquote live opponent, and I leave that to you if you feel up to it to say what shiny lessons we learned from that particular fixture.
maybe before I close off on the show, if I remember that is, I will go back a little step. So you said African opponents, and if you've been watching my channel, you know this is something that I've always hammered down on, saying that we need to. That's not my one thing, by the way. I'm gonna get onto my one thing, but just to touch on a couple of things that you said, African opponents, I definitely agree with that. But again, if you've been watching my channel, I've been saying for years now that we need to build a relationship with teams in Africa. We need to be playing against them for obvious reasons, brothers in arms and so on. And also, it's a great opportunity to play a different style of football. Obviously, Africa is a continent, and I don't think any team there plays the same. I think there's different personalities, and I definitely think you can learn a lot from playing against African nations. It was great to see us play against Nigeria in the Unity Cup, and we want to see more of that. Now, it's interesting now to hear people say that we need to be getting fixtures in the diary against African opponents, and for me, it's so laughable because it just goes to show just how reactive our fan base can be as well. Like, this is something that you guys should have been preaching for years upon years. But of course, some people think that we're too good to play against African nations. Surprise, surprise, ankle biters, two African nations awaits us. And they may very well clip our wings. If we don't do this one thing, I think they will. Hopefully, I am wrong, but we're going to get onto that in a few. So again, it's a bit of reactive of us to say that we should be playing against African nations in preparation. It's too late for that because we don't have the international window that would enable us to do that, play against a fully strengthened African team, and give ourselves a chance to do the final tweaks that will hopefully help us to put aside New Caledonia and also beat DR Congo in several weeks to come. So again, bit reactive there from the fan base calling to play against African nations now. Before, they never really wanted anything to do with Africa. I've even heard some people say we should be playing in AFCON and that we can win AFCON, which I think is not only are you egotistic, but you're definitely deluded if you think we're going to be invited to AFCON and go and steal their crown. Do you know how bloody hard it is to win the title? So I kind of feel like a bit, a little bit it kind of made me laugh because I was thinking if only some of you had listened, like we need to have a relationship with Africa, with the likes of your Nigeria, your Senegal, your Ghana, if you want to put Morocco in there as well, Algeria. We need to be playing against those teams. We're not better than them, we're not too good to be true. And like I said, the facts are the facts. We are going up against two African nations there. Wherein we got New Caledonia, we got what do you want to call it? We got DR Congo coming up. I was searching for New Caledonia and I was thinking to myself, like, where are they on the map? Like, I couldn't really find them. I realized that they're in the South Pacific. I couldn't find where they were. And no disrespect to them. It's not like I didn't know much about New Caledonia, and I'm still learning. I'm thinking, like, who are these guys? Unfortunately, still plenty to digest in terms of the team itself. So we got New Caledonia, and we got one of the teams there in Africa that's so hot and heavy, which is DR Congo. I don't know how you fancy about us playing against DR Congo, but they are definitely not a team there that I am excited to play against. That's not to say I'm expected to beat New Caledonia, but even before watching the AFCON, we already knew about DR Congo, didn't we? Because I don't know about you, but I was watching them with their World Cup qualifier, particularly against Nigeria, which I've already gone over. And I was like, yeah, this team is a problem. They're hot and heavy, and they're likely to take you all the way. They're likely to knock the stuffing out of you, leave you feeling quite winded. So got a fixture coming up there, one of the biggest teams right now. I know, obviously, we know what happened in this year's AFCON, but in terms of recent performance and history, one of the biggest teams there in Africa. I don't know how you feel about playing against DR Congo. I've been seeing your videos, to be honest with you, and you seem like you are very, very confident. I don't know why you're so confident about beating what do you want to call it, beating DR Congo, but Yeah, explain that one to me.
I've got slightly divided loyalties, and I don't want to big up DR Congo excessively. I've got some wonderful DR Congolese friends. Big up yourself, Saul. Big up yourself. You know who
You've
you are.
already gone out all guns blazing. You've already gone out all guns blazing against DR Congo, but where does this confidence come from? Because I don't think me and you share the same level of confidence. One of the big hitters
Well,
there from Africa, you know.
well, let me tell
But
you the
first,
truth.
let's
I mean,
remember again, we gotta get past
New Caledonia.
New Caledonia.
No, the truth of the matter, tongue in cheek, fun and joke aside, as my brother Martin says, big up yourself, Mars. Fun and joke aside, big up yourself, Talawa TV and viewers and subscribers here each and every time. DR Congo are a very professional outfit. They are a team on the rise in Africa. They took on Senegal. They could have actually had an automatic berth to the World Cup 2026, a 2-0 lead over the eventual AFCON champions. That's the lead that Democratic Republic of Congo held. They were surpassed and beaten 3-2. Goal difference came into the equation in their qualification. Senegal ended up with the likes of Sadio Mane in the World Cup automatically. This left Democratic Republic of Congo having to take on the likes of get me now, get me now. Sometimes I found myself doing a double take. What? I thought that I thought they beat Senegal, and I thought they lost to Senegal, and eventually Senegal get to the World Cup, and DR Congo go through another route. Well, check the route. As Crystal said, viewers and subscribers. Crystal, you said it. I saw it. Nigeria, Victor Osimhen, Iwobi, Fulham. Me not talk. They took out Nigeria on penalties, took them to deep waters, and then took them out. New goalkeeper in place. Quality goalkeeper, quality midfielders, quality organized defenders. They took out Cameroon. Do you see the Senegal, Cameroon, and Nigeria? There's not there's not much of a there's not much of a difference between these three teams. Do you spot the differences? Do you see the similarities? It's
Party.
called quality.
Do
It's
you think
called
do you think the reason why New Caledonia gets brushed aside is because we don't, well, can't speak for you, but I don't feel bad saying this, but I don't watch Oceania football. Do you? Maybe you do, but I don't. I don't even know where to find it, and that's not to be disrespectful, but do you think that's the reason why a lot of people are like, look, I'm not really going to be fretting over playing against them because you don't really watch, like, Fiji. You're not going to be watching teams like Fiji and your Papua New Guinea and nations like that, or even New Zealand. Do you think that's the reason why people are like, okay, yeah, it's more about Congo that we need to be focusing on because we don't really watch football in their neck of the woods?
as far as the reason boss is concerned, let me be crystal clear. New Caledonia is an island, a country, a nation that I still can't find on my globe in the yard. Yeah, so me still can't identify where them there. Pacific, but we're in the Pacific. Me can't see them. However, however, oh God,
You
they
say that,
exist.
but look, the argument
They
can say
exist.
you say that, but the argument can say you're just as good as them because you're going to be playing against them. So their fans could hit back and say, well, you're just as good as me because you're right in the same position that I am in, regardless of where you're located as a country. Yeah, I can't speak for you guys in the comment section. I watch AFCON. No, Oceania football isn't something that I watch. I don't think I've ever sat down and watched that, irrespective of the country. So their fans could easily well hit back and say, well, we don't watch CONCACAF football. We never watch the Caribbean Cup. Neither.
Crystal, It's an absolutely valid point. Let me continue on my crystal clear point. New Caledonia, as far as the reason was concerned, is a live and direct opponent. They've made the World Cup playoffs. They deserve their respect. Having seen 2 or 3 games of New Caledonia on YouTube, including a sound 3-0 beating at the hands of New Zealand, I can tell you, having seen a team take on Tahiti, oh God, I mean, you could hardly make it up. The thing is, Jamaica have failed to qualify from a soup group, quote unquote. We can't take anything for granted. New Caledonia have the incentive of making their own history, of making a World Cup for the first time. 48 teams are going to be in the United States of America, Mexico, and Canada. There's room for all. It was harder for Jamaica not to qualify for the World Cup than to qualify. They've got New Caledonia. I think that Jamaica will fancy themselves to defeat New Caledonia. But you cannot take anything for granted. Do I think a New Caledonia would take on Democratic Republic of the Congo and beat them? No way, Jose. And there's the rub. There's the difference. Let's see how the cookie crumbles and the dice falls. I have to read out the comment by DC 126. Do you see it there, Crystal? Do you see it there, Crystal? Lord of mercy.
Comments.
Wheel again, wheel again, wheel again, wheel again, wheel again, wheel again. Up to date, wheel again. You can read that one out.
Final comment. I'll allow you to read both of them out before I give you my one thing. I think I've let you guys wait long enough. I've taken you guys to a few cliffhangers. No more cliffhangers. I'm going to be giving you my one thing in a few. All right. Yeah, guys, you guys haven't seen me in a while, so don't be upset with me on dragging this one out. It's purpose. I want to keep you guys here with me for as long as I can. But yeah, go ahead and read DC comments before we move on.
Thank you so much. We're waiting with bated breath for this one from Crystal, this one JFF thing from Crystal. JFF needs to stop thinking in yard versus abroad players, but as one team. 100% agree with you, 100%. But honestly, I will not allow them to play with my emotions by getting my hopes up. Good luck to the Reggae Boyz. Anyway, fully endorse that. I hear exactly where the brother is coming from. If indeed it's a brother, I hear where the subscriber and the contributor is coming from. Time and time again, we've had our hopes dashed, raised, and then dashed. Let's take nothing for granted. New Caledonia won. And if March 26th, by the way, March 31st is DR Congo. They're waiting. And check this, the DRC fans seem very enthusiastic, like my brother John, big up yourself, John, about facing Jamaica. By the looks of their comments and the AF on the JFF Facebook, Lord of mercy. And when he says they're looking forward, he means licking their chops, kind of enthusiasm. You know, when you say a nice piece of food and you're licking their chops. I won't say what Brother John said. Big up yourself, my Congolese brother. Big up yourself, John. Needless to say, the brother suggested that he almost said, don't turn up for your 9 to 5. I tell you something, he said, listen, it may not be pretty. It may not be. Now, that could be just big, bad talk. Or it may not be. DR Congo, professional, hungry, incentivized, on the rise in Africa and in world football. Their Achilles heel, as far as the reason bus is concerned, they don't score enough goals. You know, let's wait and see.
Fortunate to go to school with, as I've said, a lot of Africans, and yeah, DR Congo, people from Democratic Republic of Congo. I think we've got some glaring similarities in terms of how proud we are to be from each respective countries. But yes, someone in the comment section I think said we've got a friendly coming up. I doubt if that's going to be against an African nation, because I think it's too late to play against one. So Yeah, we've got New Caledonia coming up, and also the Congo, the latter being from Africa, other from South Pacific. So yeah, let me go back into what I was saying with you guys there before I decided to segue. All right, so yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed with Mr. Speed. I can't believe it. I keep having to look at this list right here in front of me because I'm just like, surely not. I'm hoping and praying that my eyes were fooling me. But as I said, I was listening to what you were saying, and you spoke of a few things which I thought brought you close to my point, but you didn't. You didn't manage to say it. You didn't manage to hit it top bins. Hoping you would do it for me, make my job a little bit easier. So again, a couple of the things I agree with is that you're talking about band of brothers putting your eggs in one basket, and playing against African opponents, and we definitely will be playing against at least 8 African opponents. I hope come March. But before we get into that, before I can believe, as I was saying, I'm disappointed with Rudolph Speed. I'm hoping that both he and the JFF can kind of correct or tweak what I think needs to be tweaked there as it relates to my one thing. So I looked at his backroom stuff a number of times. I'm just like, hopefully, there's something there going on behind the scenes that we're not privy to. I think it's safe to say at this moment in time, in terms of the players that is, and do correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, that this will be a game that consists of pressure like no other. I think this is probably going to be the most pressured these players have ever felt as professionals. You know what they say, playing for your playing for your country is very different to playing for your club. I think we can all agree with that. One is more closer to the heart than the other. So I think the pressure is there like never before, pressure that they've never felt throughout their playing career, be it at club level or at the international level. And that includes that game there played on home soil. I don't think this one compares, because it really is the boys there being given, hopefully, like I said, I hope and pray that they can do the necessary in terms of beating New Caledonia first, and then going off into the final, which should be hopefully them getting over the line. But I'm looking at it in different perspective. I'm looking and I'm thinking, as I said, yes, pressure is there, but come the final whistle, be it against New Caledonia, do have to put some respect on New Caledonia or Congo. And when you look at that moment there, which it will be an historic moment, it's just whether we're going to be on the right side of history or not. It could be a moment there of several things. One of those things there being the last dance, and it could be the last dance there for several of the players, in terms of, if they don't get it over the line against New Caledonia and subsequently Congo, this might be curtain close for them. And this is why I say it's a different type of pressure, because surely if you fail at either the second to last hurdle or subsequently the final hurdle, take into consideration the ages of a couple of those players, that for me is curtain close on your international career. So surely you want to get it right, and I'm sure this is kind of weighing on a couple of those players' minds in terms of making sure that their game against first up again New Caledonia, followed by, hopefully, fingers crossed, Congo, goes according to plan, because there's just so much on the line. It's not, and the reason why I'm saying this is a different type of pressure is they surely know within themselves that you've let the nation down already. You've let the nation down. A lot of us are still feeling brokenhearted. You speak to football fans and they're still in disbelief. Like, they're still like, I cannot believe we did not do that. And that for me adds to the weight of pressure. No doubt it adds to the weight of pressure. And I've said this time and time again, and I thought that you was going to say it for me. But my one thing, if you know me, you should already know what my one thing is that we need to do to take us over the line. And it's no surprise, like I've said it again, I sound like a broken record. It all starts up here. And that's why I brought up the staff list so we could look at Rudolph Speed's backroom staff. And I'm looking at the list. I'm going to bring it up again so we can look at that once more before I continue with the rest of what I'm saying. We look at the list and we're seeing pretty much every and anybody. And of course, respect to the guys there on the list. It's no shade on anyone. It's not to say you don't deserve to be there. You absolutely deserve to be there. But there is definitely, for me, the key game changer that's missing from the list. To go over that list again, we've got Rudolph Speed, the interim head coach. He's the gaffer, the man leading the ship, followed by his assistants, two assistant coaches there, Miguel Coley and also Michael Donaldson, goalkeeper coach Aaron Lawrence, Kyle Chin, video analysis, Amar Stennett, the team manager. And the rest of the list concludes of Roy Simpson, general manager, Alvin Green, massage therapist, Christopher Kelly, physiotherapist, Lamar Morgan, fitness coach, Simon Preston, press officer, Derek McDowell. He is the team doctor, and also the equipment manager. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking there's just one key game changer that isn't there. And for a man of Rudolph Speed experience, I think it's safe to say that this is something there that he really should have thought of. I would have liked to have looked at that list. I'm looking at your massage therapist, I'm looking at your physiotherapist, I'm looking at your fitness coach, and I'm also looking at your team doctor. And I'm thinking to myself, where is your sports psychologist? Maybe I'm being a little bit slow and I can't see a sports psychologist on there, so do correct me if I'm wrong here, guys. I'm thinking, where is the sports psychologist? Because for me, I don't think that we are mentally prepared to go up against these two ankle biters, and that's no disrespect to the team. But you can imagine, as I said, you have already let the nation down. And I'm looking at this team and I'm thinking, as I've always said, when it comes to the Reggae Boys and the Reggae Girls, everything starts up here. Like you have to believe it to achieve it. I'm looking at this team and I'm thinking to myself, this is the reason why I don't even care about the date in terms of when we're playing against New Caledonia or DR Congo, because I'm thinking, regardless of, if I don't see a sports psychologist added to your backroom staff, I can't believe. I will support you, but I cannot believe that you're going to qualify, because again, I'm looking at the team and I'm thinking we're broken, we're depleted, and also we're completely destroyed. Definitely where the fan base is concerned. And I think most certainly it's a fact that your sports psychologist can fix that. That is why I've always said, any modern teams, or whether you're at club level or international level, especially when you're going into those knockout competitions, it's essential to have a complete backroom staff. And I think I've said it time and time again, your backroom staff for me is incomplete if you don't have a sports psychologist. Because we look at this team, sorry, for this crop of Reggae Boys time and time again over various cycles, and we've always said that there is definitely something missing. And for me, I can't put my hand on heart and say these guys believe in themselves, and they're going to use that belief as motivation to get over the line. As I've said, you've already let the nation down. Because a couple of those lads, they're taking their age into consideration. It is going to be your final dance. Does that add to a weight of pressure? I think it does. Definitely adds to a weight of pressure. I would like for Mr. Speed to get on the phone and say, you know what, let me complete my backroom staff, because at the moment I don't think his backroom staff is complete. And because of that, I'm not looking to say who should be called up, what the formation is, because I just feel like there's things that we need to do off the field of play before we look at who should be called up, before we look at starting 11. You got to correct this. It's one thing having a team doctor in your backroom staff, Derek McDowell, and you've also got your sports side, your physiotherapist Christopher Kelly, your massage therapist Alvin Green, your fitness coach Lamar Morgan. As great as those guys are as an individual and a collective, they can't fix what's up here, which I'm sure is going to be some doubt in a couple of those players' minds in terms of, can I actually do it? As I said, you got to believe it to achieve it. And, as great as the team doctor is, he can't fix your mental health. He can't, he doesn't have the license to do so. Obviously, if you, God forbid, you have a tight muscle, the doctor and the massage therapist can kind of iron that one out and fix it. But as experienced, as qualified, as educated as they are, they cannot fix the issue that lies up here. And for me, again, it all starts up here. You got to be able to believe it to achieve it. So I would love for Rudolph Speed to get on the phone and do what needs to be done, which is to recall the great man himself, Dr. Hamilton. For me, I think he's Mr. Fix-It. We've seen him before, and I'm sure Mr. Speed knows who Dr. Hamilton is. At one point at the 2022 Commonwealth Games, we were all in the same space. Rudolph Speed was there, as was I, and also Dr. Hamilton as well. Dr. Hamilton is a renowned sports psychologist. He's worked with some of the biggest names in sport, especially where Jamaica is concerned. Icons living, the likes of Elaine Thompson Hera, Shelley Ann Fraser Price, Sharika Jackson, and also the current fastest man, that is Oblique Seville. He's got a CV that speaks for itself. We also saw that he was included in the 2024 FIFA Cup and Nations League, and he was part of the Reggae Boyz medical team. So there was a reason why they brought him on board then. And I'm looking, I'm thinking, why are you not bringing him on board now? Because you can be the greatest athlete in the world in terms of potential, but if your mental health isn't where it needs to be, you're probably not going to get over the line. Like, you need someone to coach that belief into you. You need someone to let you know that, look, it can be done. And we've seen it recently, even with Oblique Seville. So I'll go ahead and have a listen to this one.
And this is Dr. Hamilton, my mental coach, and thanks a lot because he has said that I'm going to win, and thank you so much.
Who are you? You are world champion. I don't say yes, King. Bless.
So unbeknownst to myself, clearly, I'm going to go out there and say that Oblique Seville, in the run-up to the last summer's World Athletics Championship, his secret weapon for me was was Dr. Hamilton, his mental health coach. So perhaps that was when, by the time I interviewed him at the Diamond League in London, where he clearly said he's going to be winning the 100 meters, and I'm thinking, damn. You've just said that, and you've said it right on my channel. I don't want to be the one to have jinxed you, but I think even if he didn't say that, there is a lot of doubts in people's minds that Oblique Seville isn't going to get over the line because they just said that on the big stages prior to him being crowned king of the world. That you always certain fans always were of the belief that he just can't get over the line because he hasn't done it before. I think it's safe to say that him going to the drawing board, working with one of the greatest coaches to ever do it, and also adding that secret weapon, Dr. Hamilton, definitely helped him to get over the line. So I think for me, this is definitely the one thing that I want to see the Jamaica Football Federation do, and also Rudolph Speed, is to bring on board a sports psychologist. I don't need to bore you guys to death. I'm pretty sure you guys know the importance of the sports psychologist and them being able to bridge the gap there between, you know, fine margins. I say Dr. Hamilton because obviously he previously worked with the Reggae Boyz, and when you're dealing with mental health, rapport is definitely essential. If you've already built a rapport with someone, then it only makes sense to continue with that person because the trust is there already, and it's not something that you need to be anxious about. You know, when you're talking about mental health, it can give you anxiety, especially when you're talking with a stranger. The clock is ticking, so it's definitely against us. So again, I would love to see Mr. Speed and the JFF to turn me into a believer and say, let us go ahead and complete our backroom staff. His backroom staff, as stellar as it is right now, for me, that's an incomplete backroom staff. You've got your doctor, you've got your massage therapist, you've got your physiotherapist and whatever, but you need a sports psychologist there to complete the pack. And I'm not really sure how Dr. Hamilton works, but as I said, you know, mental health sessions for me with Dr. Hamilton is more invaluable to the entire squad in comparison to a couple friendlies here and there, whether that's going to be one friendly against an African nation, gearing us up against for when we subsequently beat New Caledonia and then face off against DR Congo, for me, a mental health coach is more invaluable to us right now than any amount of friendlies to come between now and the intercontinental playoffs. I'm not really sure how a sports psychologist would work in this type of surrounding, but you and I know we've heard so much being said about this Reggae Boys team, and some of it hasn't been good. It hasn't been positive news. Heard about people fisting each other up, and that to me isn't necessarily a new story because players, it's not that I agree, but players fight each other all the time. Like in football, players beat each other up all the time. If you're a player with a fat lip or a black eye, again, not saying I agree or condone it, but it's, dare I say, part of football. Emotions are running high, and you might say something to someone and they're not having it. And so, people start throwing fists and so on. And we've heard those type of stories there where the Reggae Boys are concerned and people making threats and so on. So I think, again, because we are, for me, quite depleted, wounded already before we go up against ankle biters, you do need a sports psychologist there to come through. I don't know which format or what format a Dr. Hamilton would use, but for me, it would be useful to have initially a group session where you have something almost like a no repercussions, and we know what no repercussions stands for. It's an opportunity for you to air out whatever is on your mind, get it off your chest without consequences. There's not going to be a consequence if you tell me exactly how I made you feel as your teammate. And I think the boys need that. It's not about, again, I'm not looking at your new recruits. I'm looking at the issues that we have right now, and I think the mental health aspect of it all is definitely a underground issue with the team. So again, a group session I think would do just, it will be invaluable for the lads to sit down, get it off their chests, and then potentially you could segue into your smaller group session, a little bit more intimate with the lads that really truly have their own little inner tribe, and that could be followed by your one-to-one sessions, because we got to remind ourselves, footballers are human beings at the end of the day, and just like you and I, sometimes the team drama, or dare I say their personal life or personal lives, can hinder their performance. So we're at a junction where we need to be leaving no stones unturned, and I'm hearing a lot of chatter of bringing superstars into the team. You bring a superstar into a broken environment, they are not Jesus. They're not going to work a miracle. What we need to do is get to the heart of the issue. And the heart of the issue for me right now, I'm looking and thinking, can you imagine putting yourself in these players' position? Like, you've let your nation down, you're broken, you're probably feeling destroyed. This again could be your final dance. And I think that they need to fix it. You need to bring your sports psychologist on board. You've seen that it does work. It's not like it's a waste of money. It absolutely works. And that's what I want, Ruler Speed and the JFF to do before I turn myself into a believer. Big up yourself, Cranky. I hope you are in good health. Happy New Year. I hope 2026 is your best ever year. Yes, Sir Rich, what do you make of that? As my one thing, what the JFF need to do to ensure that we qualify for World Cup 2026.
Dovetails nicely with my one point. I think a psychology, if a psychologist isn't in the camp, uh, officially, unofficially, that could be a misstep. A psychologist could be in the equation in the near future. We never know. But the backroom staff there, if there is not a psychologist at the moment, that could be an important factor. We've seen Oblique Seville doffing his cap, acknowledging the importance of a psychologist. Very important. I don't think that bringing in several players will rectify matters or seriously, significantly improve Jamaica. The DR Congo and no doubt New Caledonia are familiar on first name terms, tactically, familiar with the plays, the interaction, the midfield, the defense, the forwards. They know the philosophy, they know the mission that they've been on, they know the goal that they're seeking to achieve. And I think that up here makes such a big difference. We've seen it with the Man United players, with the likes of Michael Carrick taking over from Ruben Amorim. The importance of the mind, Dorgu suddenly bursting, sprint after sprint after sprint after sprint. Something up here changed. Casemiro, Manchester United. Casemiro seemingly passed it, yet Carlo Ancelotti said, I value your experience. I value your ability. You still have the presence up here. I want to tap into this. You've got it. Unleash it. You will be a difference maker, a significant part of this Brazilian World Cup campaign for 2026. Casemiro, 33 going on 34, doesn't have the legs. He's looked a player rejuvenated in the Seleção jersey, one of the finest defensive central midfielders there has been in the modern day game. And he has looked a different personality. Up here makes all the difference. Reggae Boyz do not have an abundance of world-class players. They have had an abundance of drama. You're bang on the money, Crystal. And I think this is you actually daring to call out certain things that need to be addressed. It's not pie in the sky talk. It's practical. It's deep conversations that you're talking about. It's a case of if you're not mentally, psychologically ready for the battle ahead, wearing the Reggae Boyz jersey, representing Jamaica, representing your country is one of the hardest things. Some players rise to the occasion, some wilt under the expectation. Jamaica had the soup group cranky. Big up yourself each and every time. They had the soup group. I know, Cranky, I saw a video that you were suggesting that new players coming in, sweeping the diaspora for the best talent. Rudolph Speed seems to be heading in that direction, in theory, least ways. But having a psychologist, having someone to do the mental work, very, very important. There you go. Talawa, Danny Dredd, Talawa, I think you're perfectly right. We need a sports psychologist for real. It's a point well made, Crystal. The time is far spent. Time flies when you are having fun. It is 1:45 UK time in the morning. You have made a very, very good point. J Hummingbird 876. Good to see you, Crystal. Good night to your guest. Big up yourself. J Hummingbird 876, the reason boss in the building with the one, the only Crystal Davis of Talawa TV speaking. And the reason boss loves when somebody speaks, as Rich Poe's reason boss likes to speak. Crystal, it's been a pleasure being with you. I am with you for another few minutes up until 1 o'clock. I will have to bid you a sayonara if that is okay with you. But this psychology point, it's one that I have not heard in too many circles, Crystal. It's a very important point. If anyone, Cranky, anyone, if they know, if there's a psychologist in the building, JFF style, or if they're looking to employ one, do let us know, because the stakes are high. We had Hurricane Melissa. Hearts were broken. Buildings were broken. This is a chance to rebuild. We need to know that the mental, psychological blocks are adequately in place. Crystal, the floor is yours.
Yeah, it's just like I said, Jay Hummingbird, pick up yourself. I hope you are in great health. Happy New Year. I hope 2026 is your greatest ever year. And yeah, thank you guys for being there, your comments there in the comment section. I'm making notes. Every time you see me look down, I'm trying to make notes so that I remember to say something for my next stream. All right. So if it looks like I'm distracted, it's literally because I'm making notes so I don't forget something. But yeah, as I've said, I'm very big on mental health and making sure that we're right up top before we go into competitions where these boys are concerned. And there has to be a reason why back in 2024 Dr. Hamilton came on board for the Reggae Boyz. it has to be a reason why he was brought back on board. And I'm looking at all these other fancy approaches, big names coming into the setup, be it as players or as the staff. But for me, the most important invaluable asset that for me completes your backroom staff, your sports psychologist, is like the invisible man. Like there's nothing there to say that, yeah, this is going to be our sports psychologist. DC says, honestly, I was checking the list for a team sports psychologist myself. I think it is indeed an error in judgment not to have one on staff. And I can only assume how these players are feeling, but surely you're feeling broken. Surely you're feeling depleted, and your team doctor cannot fix that. Your speed as well. No amount of team meetings is going to fix that. No matter how well he articulates himself, he's not going to turn the team, I think, into believers. That is the job of your sports psychologist. The world's fastest man, Oblique Seville, went and got himself a sports psychologist. Coincidentally, again, Dr. Hamilton, surprise, surprise, he is world champion. It does work. If he's good enough for the likes of Elaine Thompson here, Mommy Rocket, Sharika Jackson, I am sure that he is good enough, great enough to coach our boys into believers and brush aside the ankle biters to come. First up, we do have New Caledonia, and hopefully we can get past them and go to DR Congo. But again, don't ask me for the dates, because I've purposely not looked at the dates, because right now, as much as I want Mr. Speed and the boys to qualify, I'm just not a believer right now. All right, so that is where I'm standing on that. So I'm back over to yourself there, Sir Rich.
Well, I did mention the dates. I won't utter the dates again for your confidence. I hope that your confidence increases, though, as viewers and subscribers, commenters have alluded to, Jamaica have broken hearts before. We've had hopes raised and then had hopes dashed. This is no gimme, just like Arsenal's EPL aspirations is not a gimme, Crank, am I right? It's not a gimme. We're going to have to work psychologically speaking. We've got to deal with the naysayers. We've got to deal with those bag of people who are saying, yeah, Arsenal can't win it. Them can't win it. Them can't win it. They've been there before and they've dropped the baton. They've come up short. They're pace setters, but they can't finish the job. You've got to have it up here. You've got to have it up here. And just to merge the point that I made, having up here with the players that have come so close, are they still a band of brothers? Can they be that band of brothers? If new blood is injected into the squad, there could be some positives. But how much time does the team have to gel? If you're coming into a camp that is broken, fractured mentally, psychologically wise, mentally scarred, and is not sufficiently healed for the battles ahead, you could see an injured soldier being taken to the cleaners. New Caledonia, nothing to lose, everything to gain. No one giving them a hope or a prayer. But if they give themselves that hope, that prayer, if they say, let's do it, let's fight. Curacao did. They believed. They had a few things going for them. They had a few things going against them. It was the soup group. A certain man liked to ball out. Football is a competitive game. It's the biggest tournament coming up, the World Cup, the big dance. Let's see how Jamaica fix up, how they scrub up and turn out. I want the usual suspects, and if you're good enough and mentally ready to bring something to the party, maybe that new blood, those new bloods can come in with a a positive mentality. Maybe they're not scarred from battles of yore. Maybe things can go on with some new players, new injection of blood and talent. Let us see. It's not an easy road. New Caledonia, DR Congo, Reggae Boyz, aka Jamaica. Gonna have to front up. Let us see where the cards for Jamaica. Let's be clear. They have talent. Leon Bailey is not a scrubs. Leon Bailey is no rocks. Damarai Gray, Birmingham City. Bobby Reed, formerly of Fulham. Ethan Pinnock, Premier League defender with Brentford. Andre Blake, one of CONCACAF's finest keepers. The midfield, in Jamaica's midfield. Mr. Porter. Mr. Hayden. Anyone for Casey Palmer? Just Sean Anglin. I need to reach for a cup of tea, Crystal. I need to reach for a cup of tea. Memories are coming back. I know where these Jamaican fans have been. I know where
Feel
they've
free
had
to have your tea,
that.
Sir Rich.
Oh
Free,
God,
feel
oh God. That
feel
midfield.
free to have your tea. I know you're going to be going in a few, so before you go, I'm going to stay a little while longer to just before I close off on the show. So go ahead and let the people know where to find you. Hopefully 2 big games to come. I will say that again, New Caledonia and DR Congo. But if we don't add a sports psychologist to this backroom stuff, I'm not going to be a believer. But yeah, let the people know where they can find you before you head out.
If you get the details of a good psychologist, Lord of mercy, please send it. Viewers and subscribers, if you get news of a good psychologist, send them Rich for Sports' direction. Lord of mercy, the reason boss just had some memories crashing in Curacao. Oh God. Trinidad and Tobago, 1-1, McLaren, what were you? Oh God. Reason boss, Rich Po Sports, like, share, and subscribe, free and easy. RICHPO space sports, Rich Po Sports, the reason boss, with social commentary and football, cricket, rugby. Let me tell you something. If it's sports, me did it. Give thanks and praise. Track and field. Hey, Kishane, any Kishane fans out there? Kishane, hey, I hear him lose to 2 British. Lord have mercy. What going on? Glaive? Who?
Race. They're
Glaive?
exaggerating.
Glaive?
It was a close race. It was a close
It was.
race.
It's 60 meters. It's always gonna be close. But Lord have mercy, I thought the big bag dog, Kishane Thompson, was
You know, he's just warming up the legs, isn't he?
anyway.
Just warming up the legs.
It,
He's just warming up the legs. Cobwebs. Get the
absolutely.
cobwebs out the way.
Hey, oh, wonderful, wonderful. It looks like we've got a Shem. We've got, we've got a Kishane fan in the building. Big up yourself, one
Just
and
saying.
all. Listen, big up Seville, big up Kishane. You don't know. We're proud of you. We're proud of you. Listen, Glaive, quick 60 meters ain't no 100 meters, but 60 meters is 60 meters. Azu, watch that thing, Lord have mercy. Is there a psychology in the house, a psychologist in the building? Lord have mercy, Kishian, 1-2, shame like everything blessed, everything blessed out there. You don't know. Peace and love each and every time. Rich Post
Thank
Sports,
you, Sir
Reason
Rich.
Boss, signing out. I'll be listening. I'll have a cup of tea and I'll be listening and watching your dulcet tones.
Feel free to listen, Sir Rich.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you.
jumping
One
on
and all.
the
One and all.
live
One and all.
stream. Trying to see if I can find something here for you guys. So let me try and find something here that I'm searching for. Trying to think of let's see. Let's see if I can find something for you guys before I close off, right? I can't think of the person's name, so I think now I actually need to go and find their name because I can't actually remember their name, or maybe I might have to say this for my next live stream because for the love of God, as I said, I can't remember their bloody name. But their bloody name, guys. Sir. All right. You know what? Let's try something else. Let me go ahead and try something else. Bear with me. Bear with me. Let me try something else. Try and expand on what I've already said to you guys with regards to why we need a sports psychologist. Don't think anyone's in the comment section can disagree with that logically, why we need a sports psychologist to complete the backroom stuff, and again to turn myself into it's not I'm doubting, but to turn me into a believer. I'm not going to say doubts because I don't really want to put all that negativity out there, right? So I'm just going to say turn me into a believer. I think I've found it here, guys. I'm just trying to double check. I think I may have found what I was searching for. I may have found it here, guys. I just allow me to double check quickly. I think I have found it. I think we're cooking with gas here, guys. Just let me make sure that this is what I'm searching for. Perfect. I think I found it. All right. So continuing with the conversation there as to why I think we need to bring in a sports psychologist. My battery is on 17%, but let's just speed through the rest of the show. See this comment, bit off topic, but does anyone know the status of the coaching situation of the Reggae Girls? The Observer cited Buzzy's contract ended last month and a decision being made early January. I'm going to try not to forget this comment, right? I'm going to try it. Remind me before, if I'm saying I'm closing off, remind me. All right, DC? And we could talk about that. So back over to the Reggae Boyz. I'm sure you guys know there was a point in time where we were all looking at Spain and we're thinking, how the hell have they managed to get over the line, right? There was a definite point in time where we all looked at Spain and we're just like, they got all these wonderful players. After the success of, I think it was 2010, I think they won the World Cup in 2010, right? Correct me if I'm wrong because my memory isn't that great, but I think they won the World Cup in 2010. Correct me if that year is wrong. It's important that you guys correct me on that one, right? I can't remember exactly, but looking at Spain, there was a time they post their victory of the World Cup. I remember that little brat from Liverpool putting on the Barcelona jersey on Cesc Fabregas while they were on their parade. Yeah, we're not even going to talk about that one, are we? But yeah, so this piece there, adding to what I've said in terms of the importance of a sports psychologist and what it can do to your team, the benefits, the invaluable benefits that comes with a sports psychologist. You can see it's highlighted there. So for context, as I said, 2010. I don't think you guys have corrected me in the comment section. That was when Spain won the World Cup, right? Spain men's team. And then after that, it kind of went a little bit quiet, didn't it? So let's just focus on the article here. This one says dated the 12th of the 12th, 2022. Now, they at that time announced and they made some announcement to their room staff, and one of the announcement there included Javier Lopez, and it says here that he will be the new psychologist for the men's national team. He previously had the role in the women's national team over the last few years, and they brought him on board. And remember, this article here is from 2022. Now, is it a coincidence that since then, if we're talking about some accolades won for you guys want to look at what I'm looking at? Let's go ahead and bring that on screen for you guys. When it comes to the success of the Spain's men national team, if we scroll down and look at their success since that recent that then appointment there, and we're talking about accolades, looks a little bit messy on screen. But if we scroll down and look at their success post that, okay, yes, it was 2010 for the World Cup. Since then, if we look at what they've managed to achieve, you can see right here, before they came, they won the 2024 European championships, right? I'm sure you guys remember that. And in terms of the Nations League, you guys must have watched the Nations League to see how that one panned out there for the Spanish men's national team. So I'm just wondering, again, going back to that article there, in terms of accolades won since that all important addition to their backroom staff. Again, this appointment here back in 2022, and we look at the amount of years in which it took for Spain to lift a trophy. Is that a coincidence, or does it just prove my point of saying it is essential and beneficial, absolutely invaluable for the backroom staff to have a sports psychologist? Because really and truly, that's what a lot of the serious athletes do these days, whether that's in track and field or in team sports like football. They do call upon the need for a sports psychologist because it does carry its weight in gold. And again, you can for further reading, I'm not going to dive too deep into Spain and the hiring of their sports psychologist, Javier Lopez, but you guys can go off and do your own reading. Another case study there that you guys can look at is, should I bring this one up on screen for you guys? This piece here taken from England Football. I think this one was dated back in 2021, right? So in 2021, you can see here that was when it was published. I hope you guys can see this on the screen. Let me just double check if you guys can. Yes, you can. If you scroll down here, it clearly says a new addition to England's football technical department for the elite women's team. Dr. Katie Hayes has been appointed England's football head of women's performance psychology there. And we know, so this was back in 2021. Now we know that since then, again, is this a surprise that we've seen where the England women's national team is concerned in terms of their success since then? They're back-to-back champions of Europe, and also we saw what happened at the World Cup as well. So are we going to be saying that that is a coincidence? Or we saw, going back to the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup, they came runners up against one of the heavyweights in the game, that be it Spain. So are we going to say that's another coincidence, or are we going to just admit that, yeah, there is two clear examples there, and that's just something there that just popped up out of my head in terms of the importance and proving the importance of proving why there is a need for a sports psychologist to be part of your team, especially when you're going into knockout competitions. Again, for wider reading, you can go ahead and look at Spain. You can go ahead and look at England. I believe there's definitely, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Canada did something similar. Canada men's team, I think, did something similar in terms of where CONCACAF football is concerned. So you could go ahead and dive into that one as well in your own time. But I think we're all singing a similar hymn sheet here with regards to mental health and why it is important for us to pay full attention to it. So hopefully, I don't know if Mr. Speed's going to do it, but hopefully he can go ahead and give us a sports psychologist and complete his backroom staff. Because right now, his backroom staff is incomplete. It's definitely incomplete. And as great as those lads are, I'm just not a believer. But I do hope that they can go ahead and get the job done and qualify for the World Cup. Hopefully, we can find ourselves in the final game there against one of the big hitters right now. Despite what happened at this year's AFCON, they're still a team that's tough to break down. They take you to the wire. They take you to penalties if needs be. Hard team to break down. The Congo is a hard team to break down. Like I said, I don't watch football where New Caledonia and the likes of New Zealand's concerned. That's no disrespect. The football played in their neck of the woods, but I just don't watch it. So I will need to go ahead and look at how they play closer to the time, or maybe not. So for me to do that, Mr. Speed definitely has to go ahead and get him a sports psychologist. Okay. See what you guys are saying in the comment section. What is the basis for your statement? Have you done some kind of research, or do you know the players personally? I can't see his comments, which you guys are fully aware of. I'm assuming he's against the idea of hiring a sports psychologist. It's about exactly. That's exactly what it is, Danny Dread. You've summed it up in a nutshell. Exactly. Exactly. That is why sports psychologists are so invaluable, especially in knockout competitions. In tournament football, I'm going to die on this hill. You are incomplete without a sports psychologist, especially when we have such a broken culture where we know we've been hearing about players fisting each other up in training. I'm sure there's going to be a couple of those Reggae Boyz that want to sit down in a group scenario, no repercussions, and say, this is how I feel about you. Like, I find you to be a little bit arrogant. I find you to be cocky. I find you to be selfish. I don't know what they want to say to each other, but I'm certain that the boys have a lot that they want to get off their mind. They've probably already done this, or perhaps not. But I feel like in a professional situation where there's no repercussions, you can really lay into your teammates without the fear of the fear of consequence. Yeah, that's the word I'm searching for. Or maybe even roll or speed. Maybe they need to have a heart-to-heart, man-to-man with their new interim head coach and say, this is how I feel about you, and I'm concerned that you may do this. I'm concerned about XYZ, again, with no repercussions, and then break off into their smaller group sessions. That is what I think. All right. So J. Hummingbird says, I am no expert on mental health, so will not just look on and decide that someone is not in need of mental health assistance. Precisely, I agree with you. Spain needs to be all about arming their players with as many tools to win as possible. And exactly, and I think this is where we've come up short. I think the most invaluable tools hasn't been added to our backroom staff, disappointingly. So before I close off, I did say to DC that I will come back to this topic, this comment. What's so funny about this is you're now, I've lost count. Just this week alone, there's been quite a few people that's asked me this exact question. I've actually lost count of how many people have asked me this question, and I'll give you the same answer. I don't know. I don't know, but we know, just to read out that comment there from DC, it says a bit off topic, but does anyone know what is the status on the coaching situation with the Reggae Girls? The Observer cited Busby's contract ended last month, and a decision is being made early January. In true Jamaica football fashion, they are fashionably late. I think it's a bit of a weird one, or is it? It's not a weird one, is it? I think I'm being a bit too kind. Yeah, I think this is something here that should have been announced this month because we're obviously in a World Cup qualifying year, and it's weird to sit here and say we don't know who is the head coach for the senior women's national team. Not sure if it's going to be Busby. Has the announcement been made yet for the CONCACAF Championship? Have they made an announcement for the CONCACAF Championship? Let me go ahead and try searching that CONCACAF Championship. CONCACAF Championships. The CONCACAF Championship. Let's go ahead and see if they've done the go ahead and do a quick little Google search here, guys. CONCACAF Championship. I'm trying to see something. Let's see if they've go ahead and see if this has been correct. Let me know in the comment section, guys, if they've said anything about the championship. So I'm looking at something here on my screen. I go ahead and share that with you guys. I reckon I should. Let's go ahead and bring that up on my screen so we can both look at this together. If you have any questions, send them my way. Hope this is the right one. So the CONCACAF Women's Championship, sure you guys can see this on the screen, right? So I don't usually like using Wiki, but just as a quick search, it says here that to be decided. So there's been no announcement yet. And this is just, I reckon, guys, that this is potentially one of the reasons why we haven't heard who the head coach will be. I have zero trust and faith with the JFF, to be honest with you. Don't trust them. So I reckon this could be the reason why we haven't heard an announcement pertaining to who the gaffer is. I reckon once there's an announcement, I don't even know when they're going to be doing an announcement. I think had there been an announcement, we probably would have been told by now who the head coach will be, but that's just my opinion, not a fact. Hopefully, they said, based on the comment here, that something would be decision will be made early January. Surely, when you make the decision, you can just announce that to the public. I've not really seen anything about it, but if they haven't done so already, it would have been nice for them to put something out there to the fan base to let them know that in due course they'll give us an update on who the update on the national on the head coach, but perhaps they don't want to bring attention to the matter, so that could be the reason why they haven't said much. But you're not the only person that's asking that question, and this is where I have a go at the Reggae Girls program. As I said, I feel like they're separate entities. I think that you're hypocrites. Like, if you're trying to sincerely grow the women's game, you can't leave your fans in the dark. You got to let your fans know exactly what's going on. You got to communicate with your fans. Somewhere along the road, you've lost the ability to be authentic and transparent and communicate with your fans. Why that is, only Lord knows, because I don't. And yeah, you got to communicate with your fans. You got to let people know that conversations are being had and the announcement will be made in due course. But it does feel like you guys like to play with your cards close to your chest. I don't think you're going to sincerely grow women's football, because let's say right now, we don't know obviously who the head coach is for the Reggae Girls. So if someone wanted to make some adjustments, some plans there for the next string of games to come, are you convincing them to buy tickets and go to the game? I don't think you are, because they don't know who's going to be on the touchline. What happens if Busby happens to be their favorite head coach and they're going there to support him more so than the team? But are you really going to be supporting a team when you don't know who's going to be the head coach, irrespective of whether you're a patriot or not? So not sincerely selling women's football for me, because this couldn't happen in the men's game. If this was the men's game, all hell breaks loose. Like, there will be so much being said about what's going on, who is the head coach, when are we going to hear about who the head coach is going to be. With the women's team, they leave us in the dark. So it is what it is, isn't it? What can you do? What can you do? See what you guys are saying in the comment section. I reckon I've covered all of your comments. So I think it's probably time for me to love you and leave you, unless you guys have something that you want to say. You can go ahead and throw them my way. I do have a few more topics that I want to discuss, but I think I'm gonna hold off and move that on to another show. So that is how we're looking here, guys. You guys have any comments, then throw them my way. Ira Vibes, Happy New Year. Hope you're in good health. Hope 2026 is your best ever year. Says few Reggae Girls players turned pro recently. Thought that said something else. But yes, yes, you're right. Been keeping my eye on that, so I think we're on the same page. But yeah, let's maybe before the end of the month they may make an announcement. Would be great if they did, pertaining to who the head coach will be, but who knows. 6 wins and 7 losses for the Reggae Girls this past season, with the ranking going back up and the reintroduction of the veteran players in the most recent matches speaks for itself. New coach, I say. So DC says she wants a new coach. You're not the only person that's screaming out for a new coach. So yeah, I'm not really surprised by your comments. The football's been far from convincing, hasn't it? The football itself's been far from convincing. Obviously, we beat Dominica, and I take nothing away from the results, historic results, close to 20 goals scored on the day's occasion, history made. But at the end of the day, it is still Dominica, isn't it? It is still Dominica. And I think there's a lot there that we need to work on. So hopefully they will in the future. I'm not sure if that's going to be with Busby or with another coach, but let 2026 be the year where you put some sincere respect on women's football and communicate with your fans, because you're nothing without your fans. Like the Reggae Girls, the program, the JFF, you guys are nothing without your fans, so communicate with your fans, like be transparent. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you seem to be just a casual observer, just like me. Want you to say, I don't know what his problem is, J.A. Hummingbird. I just blocked him. He can be a little bit of a silly Billy every now and then, so I had to block him just for peace sake. Jeremy Lee, Happy New Year to yourself. I hope you're in great health. Pray that 2026 is your greatest year ever. Says he's at work but listening. I haven't seen you guys in a while, so throw some questions at me. I've answered one of the comments there from DC. If you guys want to talk some more, perhaps about the Reggae Girls before we close off. If anyone knows Mr. Speed, tap him on his shoulder and tell him to get a sports psychologist into the backroom staff. We have one game again. I'm saying one game. I'm getting ahead of myself. Hopefully, one game against one of the heavyweights there in Africa. If you've watched them play, you know the reason why I'm saying heavyweights. Remember, success is subjective. Success is subjective. So we got a game there, hopefully, in some African nation. And like I said to you guys before, I don't watch football when New Zealand and all those other countries are concerned. No disrespect to them, but I just don't. All right. Sir Porter, Happy New Year to yourself. Hope you're in great health. Let 2026 be your best year ever. Hope we all live to see many, many more, by the way, guys. A name that shall not be uttered out of my mouth, but he's in the comment section. I don't know. I think he might be a fan of mine because for some reason he gives off this impression that he doesn't like me or my platform, but he's always present. He's always present in the comment section, and you just need to say the buzzword and he'll pop up like a bloody jack in the box. But it is what it is. I've covered my main topic so far. I don't know if that's him. I don't know if that's him. You said it, Jeremy Lee. I don't know if that's him. So I can't say if it is him. If it is him, he needs to go and get the boys a sports psychologist because his team right now is incomplete without a sports psychologist. I don't think that we're going to the World Cup. Saying how is Taylor Hines doing these days? I'm assuming she's okay. Seems like you guys are still hanging on for dear life, thinking Taylor Hines is gonna come and play for us. I think it's over, guys. We got what? 5% battery. 1:21 a.m. my time. So you guys know Mr. Speed. Again, go and tell that man that we need a sports psychologist. Otherwise, we're not going to the World Cup. Emily says some haters are here too. WSL, oh my god, I was watching the Reggae Girls derby the other day. So that was obviously Chelsea versus Man City, or I should say Man City, because City played at home versus Chelsea. So obviously, Barney versus Rebecca's Manchester, Chelsea. That was a good game because the Arsenal and Manchester United game was on at the same time. And I just can't enjoy watching Arsenal women's football team play. And you guys know the reason for that, so I don't need to go over it. But I definitely will say credits to Manchester United, though. Tough team to break down. I feel like Arsenal need a complete rebuild. I just find them to be so uninspiring. No disrespect, you know? Manchester United, definitely a tough team to break down. Unfortunately, they got a couple dark arts up their sleeves. So they're going to be playing in a final against Rebecca Spencer's Chelsea. And hopefully, we can be in a mood where that final is concerned. No, trust me, I don't know who they are. Don't know who they are. Trust me, they watch every show. Listen, oh my god, I think I'm gonna have to get my charger. I'm gonna talk a bit more about Chelsea and City. I've got 3%. One moment, I'm gonna get my charger. Don't move. I'm still here to turn that. Second. Let's see if I can get the charger. Okay, I'll go and get my other. Take that out of the socket. Where's my other plug I'm packing? Uh-oh. Where is my plug? I mean, a pickle. Where's my... Oh, I just had to find some extra strength and unplug that. So where is my charger? There it is. Mine's playing tricks on me. Let's go ahead and turn that camera back on. So yeah, guys, let's talk a bit about City. This is City. I realized that City have Chelsea. Chelsea have City's number. I agree. They're like the little meddling kids in Scooby-Doo, innit? Would get away with it, but they're unfortunately sent to listen. I do enjoy watching City and Chelsea play, not just against each other, but just as a neutral. Again, more so than my own team. One thing I will say about Millie Bright, she's what you call a proper defender. Millie Bright is what you call a proper defender. When I look and I see Millie Bright in the starting 11, I'm like, it's going to be a long game. It is going to be a long game. It's going to be a long night. It's going to be a long night. So yeah, I was thinking about this the other day, and I was thinking, you know what? Yeah, she's a proper defender, like just everything that you want from a defender, absolute rock solid brick wall. Try running through that one. You're gonna do yourself some damage. And I can't say I enjoy watching Bonnie go up against her, because I don't, because just like the comment here says from Irie Vibes, like Chelsea have City's number. Like just remember last season they played each other like I swear like in the space of 1 week. Correct me if I'm wrong. Am I going mad? Didn't they play like 3 to 4 times in the space of a week, like last season, across, I think, in the league and like potentially, don't quote me on this one, domestic cup competitions. But it must have been domestic cup competitions. I don't think it was Champions League. It may have been the league cup that is, and also FA Cup. But definitely in the league also. And I was just like, what's going on here? Maybe even Champions League. Someone correct me with that one. I can't remember. But yeah, those two fixtures there, mouth-watering fixtures. And that was a little Reggae Girls derby there, you know, two Reggae Girls representing both of those respective clubs there. All right, so let's see what you guys are saying in the comment section. Football is your passion, not psychology. He's a wind-up merchant, so don't listen to him. City deserve to win the game. Let Chelsea have cookie to crack. What's the name of their Baltimore? What's the name? Is it Sandy Baltimore? Someone correct me in the comment section. Proper winger. I think she's a winger, right, guys? Proper winger. And I think she uses both feet. Yeah, that's a tidy player there that Chelsea has on their hands. Despite what Busby claimed, I have no indication that Heinz. You're listening to Busby, like when he said whatever he said in the press conference, I was just like, okay, sir, if you say so, buddy, if you say so. Mission through inspiration. Happy New Year to yourself. Hope you're in good health. Let 2026 be your what? Your best year to date. You're saying good night. A sports psychologist can definitely add value. However, that does not guarantee results on the field. Now look at another side to the issue. If we use new players, they need no psychology. But if you're not going to get a squad of you're not going to get a squad of 11 new players there, are you? And would you bring would you bring new players into a broken culture and expect victory to be within our hands? And yeah, you're absolutely right. A sports psychologist doesn't guarantee a result. It doesn't. You probably have to add some divine intervention to that as well, because of the state that we're in. But it is, I think we can all agree, Thank you for the comment, by the way, that just like you said, it does add value. And I think if it add value, we should capitalize upon that. City just miss some sitters. Chelsea won 4. Yes, I knew they played a bag of games last season. I was just like, wow, wow. Millie Bright, man, she's the chef's kiss proper defender. Funny, I just sat here and I was just like, nah, she is just. I think if I'm not mistaken, she also recently called in her retirement with England, right? Just like, yeah, it's a bit of a shame. Would have been nice if she went to Brazil, but she must know. Players know when their time's up. So yeah, she's done it well in the nick of time for England to just do what they need to do without her, right? Or Ira Bright says Bright is a top centre back. Gave Bunny issues. List, like I said, when I see her going up against Bunny, I'm like, long day at the office. Long day at the office. And I don't say that a lot when it comes to Bunny taking on defenders, but that one right there, that's a brick wall. Brick wall. The absolute best female left winger in the world, hands down. Listen, Baltimore. I think we're talking about Baltimore. Absolute chef's kiss. I'm seeing her moving both feet comfortably. I'm like, damn. I'm like, wow. Like, you've been developed. You have been developed. She's an absolute chef's kiss of a ball. I'm just like, yeah, like what I'm seeing with her. Really good footballer. I revive is saying Baltimore is a baller. City can't bottle hey, listen, that's another thing. Do you think that, because like I said, we already solidified that Chelsea, of all the teams in the WSL, one of the teams in the world that definitely have their ticket. Do you think that this win against them in the semi-final could pose a potential psychological threat to City believing that they can go all the way? Right, and win it, because at the moment, let's see if we can bring that up on board. I haven't discussed women's football with you guys in a while, innit? It's been a while since we've chatted women's football. Let's see if we can look at the WSL table. It's been a minute since we've done this one here, guys. Let me go ahead and find. See, this is how we're looking where the table is concerned. I'm sure you guys can see that one, yeah? So City, 33 points compared to Chelsea's 27. Arsenal, I don't think stand a bloody chance. That's 10-point gap between them and the league leaders. Right? So yeah, do you think that they can get pegged back? I don't think they can. I reckon as long as Bunny stays fit, I think she'll do enough to take them over the line. Let me know if you guys disagree. I was there when she won the League Cup. I was at the game when Bunny literally went and watched that game live in person, just because I wanted to see her play live for Manchester City, because up until that point I hadn't watched her play for her club, watch her play live obviously for Jamaica, but not her club. So went and watched her win that League Cup. Was hoping that she would win this year's F Cup. Wasn't to be. Hopefully she can win this year's WSL title, add that to her trophy cabinets. Not many centre backs can, but bloody Millie Bright can, and she will. That's a brick wall. City still got to play Chelsea. Bunny's fitness is crucial for City, absolutely. So J.A. Hammenberg says, what I am trying to say is that we need to leave matters of mental health to the experts. You can't always observe someone and know. Yeah, because you have functional depression. So you have someone who could be struggling with their mental well-being, but in front of you, they're happy, they're laughing. Obviously, people have different coping methods. And, I don't want to turn too dark, but that is the reason why when, God forbid, someone does something such as carrying out a certain act, it's a surprise, because they're like, oh, this person is always laughing, they're always happy. Just because a person is always laughing and happy doesn't mean all is well. Doesn't mean all is well, because you have functioning depression. It does not mean that all is well. So I'm saying that it's always good to consider the human side of football, because we don't know what these players are going through, where their mental health is concerned. And sometimes the poor performance is literally down to something that is affecting them mentally, whether that's the team environment. I always say when it comes to women's football, it's a little bit more grimy. It's a little bit more, difficult for them, especially when you're Black, again, playing in those notable white leagues, so on. And for the men's game as well, it could be the same, family issues, so yeah, they need some support where their mental well-being is concerned. Danny Dredd said at the start of the season you wanted Shaw to come to Arsenal, and I said no, barring injuries she would live. I still want Bunny to come. I hear them talking about contract extension. I wanted that to fall apart. My club is just silly because they should be all over that with a rash. Instead, I'm hearing them talk about signing Georgia Stanway. No disrespect to Georgia Stanway, but fam, like, if Bonnie is up for grabs, test the water. Test the water. Like, go and sign her. And yeah, I want her to win the league with Manchester City. Definitely want her to win a major honor with her with her country. Want that to happen as well. But yeah, I want her to win something with City. What's caused Arsenal? I don't know if this is true, but I saw something floating around on Twitter about some internal issues. I don't know if that's true between the players. I'm not sure if that's factual, but I saw something about some internal issues. I'm like, okay. Well, I don't have a connection with the Arsenal women's team at the moment, so I'm just like, good luck with that. I hope you can sort that one out in your own time. But yeah, hopefully they can sort that one out. Definitely enjoyed speaking a little bit about the women's football with you guys. Obviously, we do have the weekend coming up today, which is Saturday for me right now. So it's a London derby, lunchtime London derby, Chelsea hosting Arsenal. You guys can look out for that one. And then on Sunday, London City Lionesses taking on Man City. Don't think that's gonna be a issue for Money and City. So yeah, you got some fixtures there coming up in the WSL that you guys can keep your eyes on as fixtures elsewhere where the girls are concerned. See if you guys have anything, if you guys have said anything else in the comment section that needs my attention. I don't think you guys have. I think I've covered everything. Big ups to you guys there for tuning into my live stream. Sir Rich was on earlier on. He had to dash, it's his bedtime. Be out and about tomorrow as well. And I think I should be doing the same, stretching my legs. Definitely need to be doing the same. I think that's it, guys. Are we done? I think unless you guys have give you guys 4 more minutes. Let's take this one to 2 hours and 30 minutes. I haven't seen you guys in some several weeks. When dealing with humans, you can always rule with an iron fist. Not every situation requires the iron fist. Sometimes you got to be a bit more delicate. So the message for me is absolutely clear. Mr. Speed needs to bring on board his sports psychologist, because that for me, Dr. Hamilton previously worked with the Reggae Boyz. You know how mental health goes. If you've never done therapy before, you don't even need to have done therapy before. We all know when we're talking about personal stuff, we like to talk about that with the people that we can trust, or if not, someone that we've built up a rapport with, because oftentimes you're dealing with trauma and you don't really want to keep on reliving your trauma with different people. You kind of want to pick up the conversation from where it was left off. Hence why rapport building is absolutely essential. So J. Hummenberg is saying that you can't always rule over iron fist. Let me know if you guys have any more questions. I got 3 more minutes until I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you so much for blessing me with a moment of your time. If you're out and about, I do hope that you make it home safe and unharmed. I want to give you guys another live stream. Let me go ahead and look at my I'll go ahead and look at my notes and see what I came up with. Actually, I don't need to look at my notes. I've literally created the streams already. I just haven't I haven't made them live just yet. But I've created a couple streams, upcoming streams. There's one here that I could do. That one day is a bit spicy. I might have to. Okay, I got something else I could do with you guys. I think that one is a little bit too spicy right now. I might have to pause on that one and give you guys something else. Talk a little bit more about the Reggae Boys on my next live stream. Glenroy, big ups to you. Happy New Year. Hope you're in great health. Pray that this is your best year to date. Crystal, do you think recruitment of top? I think you're probably just tuning into my live stream. Yes and no. Nothing in life is a guaranteed, given the context of your question, but you may have just tuned into my live stream, but I think more so than player recruitment because of what we've been through as a nation and as a team failing to qualify for definitely, not arguably, but definitely the easiest path to a World Cup qualification for the men's team. I think coupled with some of the things that we've heard recently in regards to player bust up, certain players not liking each other and so on, I reckon the most important player in all of this is your sports psychologist. And of course, we know that just because a sports psychologist can fix the mental aspect of the game, of course, that doesn't mean that we're going to beat New Caledonia and move on to beating DR Congo. So for me, the number one player in all of this is the sports psychologist. All right, that's my opinion. If you guys have any more questions, it's about 2 hours and 30 minutes with you guys, but let's check out the prize on our website. 200 to what's that supposed to say? 200 to 1? West Ham versus Manchester City, London. Is that tour? Oh, is that tour? Go the website. 200 to go and watch West Ham versus City, the WSL. Really? £200? Are you sure about that? What website did you see? I don't think I think that website is a scam. I don't think you're going to, because even when games are played at the Emirates for Arsenal versus Manchester United, I'm pretty sure the tickets aren't £200, which is why they get sold out stadiums. The tickets are quite cheap. It's considerably much more cheaper to go watch women's football than men's football. So I think that website is a scamming site. There's no way they're charging £200 for West Ham versus City. Hell no, they're not choosing that. So Mission True Inspiration says she is not saying that mental health was the excuse for them losing. She is saying that psychology can repair their mental state by virtue of having lost. I think he does understand, but he likes to be a little bit difficult. Let's put it that way. He fully understands, but I don't know why he enjoys challenging me when he doesn't really need to. But as long as we all understand the importance of a sports psychologist, and Mr. Speed knows that as well. He knows. So if he is daft enough to go into the Ankle Biters Intercontinental Playoff last dance with an incomplete squad, then fair play to him. I wish him and the boys all the best of luck. I'm gonna have to love you and leave you guys. Yeah, thank you for tuning into my live stream. Big ups to Sir Rich for popping by. Definitely appreciate him blessing me with a moment of his time. I'm gonna go through this again just to make sure I haven't missed no comments. I don't think I have. If in case I have missed the comments. I forgot to say, make sure you subscribe to Eddie Guna. Pretty sure you're familiar with his channel. So when I close off, if you haven't subscribed to his channel yet, do head over to Eddie Guna and subscribe to his channel. Likewise, do the same for Cranky Live, that is. Subscribe to his channel as well. I forgot to say that earlier on. So do make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the lads channel. I'm sure you guys are aware of their channel already, so probably don't need to do no subscribing. And thank you to those of you, the few of you there that are subscribed to the channel while I was live. So a couple subscribers increase. Big ups to you guys. Have a great night, morning. May 2026 be your best. Yeah, I hope so. God's willing, it will be our greatest year. All of you guys there in the comment section, and those of you silently watching from home, you know what I'm gonna do, don't you? I think I'm gonna go stuff my face before I go to my bed. Yeah, I'm gonna have to love you and leave you. Danny Dread, big up yourself. You guys in the comment section, bless up each and every time. If you haven't hit the like button, what are you waiting on? Go ahead and hit that like button. I'm saying World Cup 2026 is at risk. Why? Because right now our backroom staff is incomplete. Mr. Speed, the JFF, do the right thing, complete the backroom staff by reintroducing our sports psychologist, the man that did it before. That is Dr. Hamilton. All right. Hit the like button if you have answered yet. And I will be seeing you on my next live stream. Do keep your notification bell turned on so that you don't miss my next live stream. All right. But until then, until next time, take care. We built this out of love, out of pride, shining a light from the island to the diaspora to the world. A golden beacon of sports, music, and everything in between. The very best of Jamaica. We little, but we Talawa.